Chicago. Guys, welcome to the afternoon show. I am Atiba Buchanan.
And I am registered voter. Okay, LaDonna Raeh, right here on WVON 1690. Want to make sure if you're on Facebook Live that you share the show and also make those comments. Let us know if you feel like it. Which party are you choosing? Which person are you choosing? Or if you're registered to vote, we want to hear from you, Chicago, and nationwide. What are you doing?
All right. We got a fantastic show. As I alluded to a moment ago, we are on the precipice of voting here in Chicago. Big vote. We gotta pick a whole senator, guys.
Mhm.
And so we're gonna delve into that later on in the show. But right now we have a guest waiting in the waiting area of our StreamYards. You can see him, his distinguished beard.
Oh, it's getting longer.
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm gonna tell you what I love about our guest. He's everywhere we are.
Yeah.
There's no place that we're at that he's not at. And we're all working.
It's
and
Brandon Pope at WVON.
That's right. Brandon Pope, he has joined us, been kind enough to join us to do an Oscar recap. Very, very, very big deal. Thank you for joining us, President of the National Association of Black Journalists Chicago chapter. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing great. You caught me as I'm writing a Oscars recap post for my popular Substack screening room about film and TV. I'll have that up for people to read after this.
Absolutely.
Love
We should talk to
it.
him about contributing to the website.
That is true. Absolutely. I'll send you an email. You just put yourself to work.
Sounds good to me. I'm into it.
All right. That said, good sir, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves, you just did a whole interview with Ryan Coogler.
This is correct. Yeah, I love
All
Ryan
right.
Coogler. Yeah.
That said, you've got again context that you can give us. How big was this Oscars last night and why?
Yeah, ultimately, Sinners was the most nominated film in Oscars history. And while it did not win Best Picture, which I'm disappointed about, like many are, it still won big time. 4 Oscars overall. Ryan Coogler becoming only the second Black man ever to win an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. That's incredible on its own. But then Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor, becoming only the 6th Black man to ever win that award. The Best Cinematography Award as well. And of course, the score and sound from Ludwig Göransson with the crafting with Raphael Sadiq and Miles Canton and Buddy Guy for that soulful blues-inspired soundtrack. Sinners to me is going to be, its legacy is going to be bigger than the awards itself. It was a timeless piece of cinema to me that we're going to be talking about for years to come. And part of that's because of what Ryan Coogler did through the process of educating the audience through this. He was breaking down film aspect ratios and emphasizing why it's important to go to the theater. And that's why Sinners right now is being re-released in theaters constantly in 70 millimeter at the Music Box. You can't deny the impact on the industry that Sinners had. For Hollywood, for cinema, was colossal. For that reason, to me, it was no doubt the best movie of the year, deserved Best Picture. But hey, 4 Oscar wins is great and nothing to balk at. It definitely got a great run, and I can't wait to see what the legacy is going to be and the story is going to be going forward for all these men, for Ryan Coogler, for the whole cast, for Michael B. Jordan, for the cinematographer, the first woman to ever win that award. So many great things.
That part was so inspirational because it's Women's History Month. Yeah. And the first woman and Black person to win the cinematography Oscar. What this does is, well, in your opinion, and I'm just going to throw in my ideas, when I think about how she was able to represent many women who have been in film, because it's a male-dominated industry, but now here she comes and she walks away with this Oscar. And Oscar is something that everybody looks forward to. What do you think this says to other women out there that are in cinematography and in the film industry altogether behind the scenes?
Absolutely. Well, it's wild that in 2026 we still have historic firsts like this, right? For Autumn Durald Archipel to be the first woman to ever win this award opens so many doors, because we know there's women right now in Chicago that are working behind the scenes filming with productions,
I
writing.
don't mean to cut you off, but you deserve an award for saying her name as well as you just did. In one shot.
Yeah.
I don't know what award that is, but that was fantastic. Go ahead,
man. Hey, I'm a broadcaster by trade. I try my best, but ultimately, yes, this opens so many doors. Let's hope this is not the last woman to win this award. It also shows that the Academy itself, the voting Academy, still has a long way to go. This is progress, no doubt, but still has a long way to go in terms of reflecting the industry today and those who are breaking into it. But let's give Ryan Coogler credit here.
Mm-hmm.
You think about all the historic firsts. First Black person to do this, first woman to do that for so many of these Oscars and awards. Ryan Coogler is the one that hired these people. He's the one that put them in position, right? That is dynamic all in itself. And you could see watching those awards how celebratory he was for his team and his people. I think that's a lesson for all of us, right? To build with the people around you horizontally and lift as you climb. That's what Ryan Coogler does. That's what Autumn does. That's what Michael B. Jordan does. And that's the story of Sinners overall. Legacy, family, connection, and lifting as you climb.
And look at if you think about the franchise Friday and how those individuals, those actors were not as well known. And now look at them. Or the same thing with In Living Color, how Jim Carrey just took off and so many others. This is definitely one of those examples. And we need more of those examples because a lot of people feel like they have to have certain names, but not in this case. He grabbed the ones that he felt comfortable with.
I know one thing, Ryan Coogler, the name he is most comfortable with is Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Does he?
They work well together.
He does not make a movie without this man.
Yeah.
Period. Like,
period. Can you
He's
imagine?
going to find a way to work him in.
Can you imagine? Black Panther 3's already been greenlit. You got a bunch of Oscar winners in it. Lupita Nyong'o, Denzel Washington, now Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, an Oscar winner behind it. It's an incredible thing he's built here. And yeah, we think about those iconic director-actor duos, Scorsese and DiCaprio, right? You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yep.
Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, they're right up there. And
that's right.
There's more coming.
All right. Sit tight, my friend. We are right at the break at 3:17. Guys, the phone lines are open. 773-591-1690. Did you watch last night's Oscars? What did you think? Was it impactful to you? Was it inspiring? Or was it a letdown? We want whatever your thoughts are. We want to hear them. Give us a call or leave a comment in the chat. You're listening to Atiba, LaDonna, Raeh. We'll be right back.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Who is everyone supporting to be our next state rep? Democrat Asia Kearney, a lifelong South Side resident. Asia's ready to work with Governor Pritzker and fight back against Donald Trump. She's a union member, so you know she's backed by Illinois SEIU. They'll work together to bring down costs and create good-paying jobs. And Asia's a tireless advocate for good public schools. That's why Chicago Teachers Union, Illinois Federation of Teachers, and Cook County College Teachers Union are supporting her campaign. Community leaders like Commissioner Carrie Steele and Alderman William Hall support her because she's committed to keeping us safe. If you're ready to elect a leader who will work hard to bring down costs, strengthen our public schools, protect your rights, and focus on public safety, you need to be with Asia Kearney too. Cast your ballot for Asia Kearney by March 17th. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Asia Kearney or any federal candidate or committee.
This spring, August Wilson's Ma Rainey's Black Bottom comes to the Goodman. It's 1927 Chicago. Ma Rainey, the mother of the blues, and her band are recording an album, but tensions build to one of the most heart-stopping endings in theater. Ife Butler stars, with Chuck Smith and Harry J. Lennox directing the play called A Genuine American Masterpiece. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom starts March 28th. Tickets at goodmantheater.org.
Juliana Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running Chicago's largest ICE detention lockup center. Even worse, Juliana Stratton raised taxes on working families by 32%. Then, Stratton turned around and promised tax breaks for her corporate donors, higher taxes for us, tax breaks for her wealthy donors. Juliana Stratton selling us out. Raja Krishnamurthy has spent his entire life taking on the powerful for the people. An immigrant, Raja grew up on food stamps, relying on neighbors just to get by. He knows what's at stake because he's lived it. That's why in the Senate, Raja Krishnamurthy will lower drug prices, end taxes on Social Security, and make sure every child has a free lunch at school. Raja Krishnamurthy, our Democratic fighter for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms to apply.
It's Matt McGill.
Man, I'm agitated by black people not understanding the moment that we're living in right now, as if we live in a post-racial America. And we're going to sit up here in a city like Chicago with the history of racism and bigotry and segregation. And we got nerve to complain about a black man some damn snow. In 1995, we had a heat wave. 739 people died in the city of Chicago. And guess what you Negroes did? Y'all reelected Mayor Daley 3 more times after that. Help me help you, or get out the freaking way.
Weekdays at noon on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back to WVON 1690. That wasn't too long, was it? 773-591-1690. You guys can give us a call. We're talking about those Oscars last night as we wait for them each and every year. Atiba, were you all dressed up last night for the red carpet? Just to pretend like you were there?
No, I was dressed up Saturday night when I went to the opera.
Oh, okay. You had already done it.
Yesterday, I was on the couch in my shorts.
Yeah. Okay. thanks for that visual, you know.
I'm being generous with shorts.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, Brandon, when the Oscars come, where do we go from here? Because it's often said, or we've often said, that our people, meaning Black people or actors or film industry folks, we only get recognized when we're in something that is less than favorable. But in this case, it was super creative, you know, and because of the body of the voters that decide who gets an Oscar and who doesn't. Where do you think we go from here? Because it's often been said that they don't understand our stories.
That's a great question. I think ultimately we have to apply pressure as an audience to these studios to prioritize our stories. Sinners is a movie that Warner Brothers greenlit with Ryan Coogler betting on himself in a sense, and Warner Brothers saying, yeah, we got you, right? And the audience saying, we got your back too. We need to show up for our people, our creatives, our actors, our directors, especially if they're making content that, as you say, isn't in a negative light or doesn't fit stereotypical molds, right? Like my biggest criticism out there, and this is no shade to anyone working on these productions, is I get fatigued by the amount of popular shows in the Black community that are all about drug crime or crime overall. power,
and cheating and
all these
dying.
different things. I think that's so regressive. And I also find that many times those shows just aren't good quality. And so if we can support, there's other products out there that aren't doing that. We just don't watch them. And then they get canceled. Same with the movies. They don't get the numbers. We have to show up for these stories if we want other stories to be told. So I think really the onus is on the audience to apply the pressure, and then the studios to say, okay, we see it. We need to put the money behind it and back it. That's what's next here. We can't have Sinners be the last moment like this. We got to make this be a trend.
Yeah, and in 100 years, we say, well, it's been 100 years since
Right.
Sinners won an Oscar. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because I don't know, but we have this big shiny thing in the Sinners win, 4 wins, especially with Michael B. Jordan winning Best Actor. But how did Black folk do overall, comparatively speaking, to other years? Like, is that all we got, or are we beginning to see a more diversity in the winners? Are we beginning to see that yet? Because it was just not long ago. It was Oscars So White.
I think overall, beyond just Black Americans, we're seeing more diversity, both in nominations through the Oscars and also the wins. Brazil is making waves right now because last year they had their first ever Oscar winning film. This year, with The Secret Agent, they've had their first ever Brazilian actor to be nominated for Best Actor. He obviously didn't win, Wagner Moura, but the achievement itself is pretty incredible. And the movie nominated for Best Picture and International Feature, right? You saw the first time that we didn't have any British actors in the actor or acting categories, showing more American dominance. And I do think you saw more diversity overall in the supporting actress category. Wumi Musaka, Tiana Taylor. I think there were some snubs for sure with Chase Infinity with One Battle After Another. I don't know how she doesn't get nominated. I know it's her first movie, so I think that's the thought process, is like she's got a bright future, but she was the heart and soul of that. But overall, yes, things are getting more diverse because the voting body is getting more diverse. Since 2012, the Oscar voting body has doubled from like about 5,000 to more than 10,000. That means there's been more people brought into the process overall, and a lot of them have been Black and brown people. So, it's going to take time to see these things change overall, but I think we're seeing early signs that there is a sea change happening.
Do you get to vote?
I am not a voting member of the Academy yet. Not yet.
Okay. I know. I love how you said yet.
I like that because this needs to be like the Senate. You need 2 from each ethnicity.
Right. Come on.
2 judges from each ethnicity.
Let's squeeze in Tommy. Hey, Tommy, we got about a minute.
I don't even need a minute. I just want to ask all of you, why in the hell is it that we all always are trying to get someone else to see our ability, to see our talent? I mean, at what point do you stop and you recognize what I have said to you over and over and over, minute almost up? It's called Skip the Hell Out of You. It's my Academy Awards. I do whatever the hell I want to do. And since you are so brain dead, explain to me how Tom Cruise went into stardom and Cuba Gooding Jr. never made it anyplace else. Explain to me how Doug Williams won the damn Super Bowl and all he did was went to Disneyland. You people have got to be some of the most brain dead people on the face of the earth. Everything about our existence here is illegal, and here we are in 2026 with them telling you, skip you, and we still talking about, can I get an Oscar? That's enough to make a Negro black. Goodbye.
Enough to make a Negro black.
I found out I'm brain dead today.
He wasn't talking to us, Brandon.
Oh, okay. Well, ultimately, I'll just say this. I understand the sentiment. And there's no doubt, I think we definitely celebrate us really well. NAACP Awards, Image Awards, BET Awards, things like that. We can't deny the fact, and yeah, it's structural, it's institutional, but when we talk about career success, what looks good on a resume, what helps you get opportunities and get you in the door.
Or does it?
Yeah.
Because I've read that, after the Oscar ceremony is over, the phone doesn't necessarily keep ringing.
This is true. And sometimes that depends on the role too, but this is very true. It doesn't always guarantee it, but I'll tell you what, it definitely makes it a lot easier than if you don't.
You would much rather be known as an Oscar winner or at least nominated than not.
Exactly.
That has to go a long way
That
professionally.
puts an extra price tag. The price goes up, right? Your agent has more bidding power. Same thing for like in my profession with Emmys, right? You get an Emmy, obviously we love all the other awards, but an Emmy looks better on a resume sometimes, and that helps you get opportunities.
Yesterday's price is not today's price after winning an Oscar.
Come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of it. So that's but there's a larger conversation to be had that he's pointing out about we need to do a really good job of celebrating ourselves and putting as much emphasis on those awards as we do an Oscar. I think this year we kind of saw that. I think the NAACP Image Awards, I think we showed up and showed out for that. I really do.
We want it all. How about that? Brandon, thank you so much for being on and giving us this update. Are you ready for Election Day? We got to skedaddle to news, weather, and traffic. But you ready for Election Day?
I will be at the Hideout tonight breaking down the elections with the Indivisible Chicago. I am ready. Let's get it.
All right. We'll see you next time on here on WVON because you're everywhere. Guys, we're going to go to news, traffic, and weather, and we'll be right back with the afternoon show.
Hope you're having a marvelous Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's happening in your local and national news. The family of late civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson is taking back an endorsement of a U.S. Senate candidate. Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton's campaign announced on Saturday the founder of Rainbow Push personally endorsed her before he passed away in February. Jackson's son Yusuf took back the endorsement today. He said his father never finalized his picks before his death, and a draft sample ballot was released without authorization. Meanwhile, Stratton and Senate candidate Congresswoman Robin Kelly are also using past endorsements from former President Barack Obama in campaign ads. In other news, former Bears starting quarterback Justin Fields is heading to yet another team. ESPN reports that the Jets are sending the signal caller to the Chiefs. In exchange, Kansas City will send a 6th-round draft pick to New York. Fields is expected to back Patrick Mahomes, who is returning from a torn ACL. He struggled with the Jets last season before he was benched for Tyrod Taylor. Fields previously played for the Steelers after he was traded to Pittsburgh by the Bears in 2024. In other news, a new study suggests a father's tobacco use could change the health of his offspring. Researchers from the University of California, Santa Cruz found that when male mice consumed nicotine, their offspring showed changes in how their bodies handled sugar. The results that a father's tobacco exposure could increase the risk of his children developing diabetes. The study notes reducing smoking habits could slow the diabetes epidemic. And the United States Postal Service has rolled out a new set of forever stamps. Mark Mayfield has the details.
All my friends know the low rider. The low rider is a little higher.
The Lowrider Forever stamps feature photos of 5 lowrider models, each with its own name. The USPS says the stamps celebrate the lowrider car artistry and culture that is rooted in the working-class Mexican-American Chicano communities. These stamps were designed by art director Antonio Alcala using existing photos taken by Humberto Mendoza and Philip Gordon, while artist Danny Alvarado added the design's pinstriping. The stamps were released Friday and are sold in a sheet of 15 for $11.70. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I'm Logan Page, and that's happening in your news now on WVON 1690.
Who is Dr. Kashasha E. McCaskill? Illinois State Senator and Assistant Majority Leader Napoleon Harris says Commissioner McCaskill is a leader we need. She gets things done, understands legislation, policy, and the need for access to funding and economic development. McCaskill continues to represent the residents with a spirit of excellence to deliver resources and services for the 5th District of Cook County. Because Dr. McCaskill embodies the character, passion, and dedication to address healthcare and housing, Reverend James Meeks, Bishop Larry Trotter, Apostle Carl H. White, Southland Ministerial Health Network, and other great leaders stand with her. Who is Commissioner McCaskill? One who pledges herself to the residents of the 5th District, understands the challenges we battle, and the impact Cook County government has on our lives. Dr. McCaskill is firm in her commitment to continue reforming and enhancing the upward mobility of public health, public safety, and economic development of our communities. Vote Dr. Kashasha E. McCaskill, 5th District Cook County Commissioner.
Punch 102, paid for by Citizens for Dr. Kashasha E. McCaskill.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services.
Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-217-9033 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-217-9033. That's 800-217-9033. Again, 800-217-9033.
Stephanie Kifowit is not your usual controller candidate. She's a Marine veteran and a current Illinois state representative with years of experience fighting waste, fraud, and abuse in Illinois government. Illinois needs a Democratic controller ready on day one to protect taxpayer dollars, stand up to Donald Trump, and get results.
I am Stephanie Kifowit, and I'm running for Illinois State Controller.
Paid for by Kifowit for Controller.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONwealthshow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in Alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tomorrow night, WVON and VON TV are your election night headquarters. Join Rufus Williams, Cleopatra Draper, and David Seaton at 6 p.m. for a dynamic election night roundtable discussion, bringing you insight, context, and a clear view of the races impacting Chicago, from the U.S. Senate to Cook County Board President and the 2nd and 7th Congressional District races. Our team will be on the ground and across the city with real-time updates and expert analysis. That's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. live on WVON or watch live on VON TV. That's VON.TV. When the results come in, WVON and VON TV, we've got Chicago covered.
All right, we're back on the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna
Hold
Raeh.
on, are you going to be out there covering?
Yeah, I'm going to be
election?
I'm going to be at Melissa Kanya Irving.
Nice. We interviewed her at the funeral, at the homegoing, I want to say, for Reverend.
We sure did.
Yes.
So I will be there. I'm not going to say where it is. I'm not sure if that's for public consumption.
Okay.
But I will be consuming while I'm there. I'll tell you that.
Wait till after you do the coverage.
Right.
I will be on boots on the ground with Jesse Jackson Jr. for Congress.
Love
so
it.
I can't wait to call him Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr.
All right. Again, you can still call him that now.
No,
technically.
yeah, I know, but I'm just saying winning Congressman. Yes.
All right. So let's get to this, though, because one thing that wasn't in that live read is the local school board elections.
Yeah.
The local school councils.
Local school council.
Absolutely. I think their elections are coming up this coming Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. And that's something that sometimes gets forgotten about. But this is just as this is as important as anything. And we want to talk about that to make sure that we don't neglect this, that we don't forget it, that we don't omit it. Joining us on the live line is the director of the LSC, Kashasha Ford. Thank you so much for joining us, Director. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. So, in being a parent myself, I have attended these local school council meetings over and over again. And I often noticed that our tables for the Black schools were where I had to like loan a chair to the other schools where they needed more chairs because there were just not enough seats for them. But there would be 3 or 4 parents showing up on our side of those meetings. And part of this is lack of attendance. And can you tell us, before we talk about the attendance, what does the local school council do so that everybody understands that?
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. So local school councils, they were created by statute in 1988. And the purpose of these local school boards is to give communities at the local level the opportunity to improve the academic achievement of the schools in their communities. And so on these LSCs, you have parents, community residents, teachers, the school principal, and even students that are at the table to make really important decisions about their school, about how the school funds will be spent and resources allocated. They develop the school's academic plan. They also evaluate and they select the school principals. And so, having all these stakeholders at the table, the goal is to make sure that our schools have these councils have a positive impact on student achievement.
We love it. Thank you, Director Ford, for again giving us that base conversation, because not everybody knows. So now, understanding what the school council does, I think it just begs the question: Can you talk or elaborate on why it is important to vote in this election, and then how does one do it?
Sure. So, I appreciate anytime I get a chance to talk about LSCs, I get excited. And when you think about democracy on the local level, this is where it's at, right? Think about the opportunity to choose a school leader having an impact on your child's or your community's educational trajectory, right? And so we need people to run for LSCs. And so we're really happy that we had over 6,500 parents and community members and students run for seats on these councils. But more importantly, we need people to actually come out and vote for these representatives, because if you think about, these are elected officials, right? And so LSCs are public officials. Their role is to represent their various constituent groups. And it's important that the community come out and vote for the people that they want to see in these seats at each of these schools. And the election, again, is on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Polls open at 6 a.m. Polls close at 7 p.m. And so we're looking forward to having our parents and community members come out and vote.
All right, and schools are not open that day, right?
Correct. So it is a non-attendance day for students. It's report card pickup. And so, any parent coming into the building, picking up their report card, make sure you vote in the LSC election. And then, we appreciate platforms like yourself getting the word out so that community members can also go into these schools and vote for LSC representatives as well. So I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah. And speaking about getting the word out, how does the LSC communicate with the parents about these particular voting opportunities?
Sure. So what happens, we have our members, our candidates, they actually campaign. They have campaign materials. A lot of them have their own websites. They have their Instagram. They use social media. And our office, along with the school district, we do promotions as well. So we had a lot of radio ads. We had a lot of bus and train ads related to the elections as well. So we also kind of help as a district get the word out to get people to run and also to vote.
Yeah, I'd like to see a workshop for parents so that they can understand how they have a voice in this, specifically because if the information is on, let's say a pinup board or in an email, I'm just saying, that's how it was when my kids were in CPS. It would just be posted, but it just wasn't enough to get people involved so that they can understand what takes place and who to vote for and how to vote. When you walk in those meetings, you hear you hear all these terms, but you don't necessarily, you feel intimidated by that if you're not familiar with how the quorum goes and so on and so forth. But I'd like to see a workshop.
Sure. No, I appreciate you flagging that. One of the things I want to make sure that I elevate, when people become seated members on these councils, our office does do training. So to be an LSC member, you don't have to have a particular type of background or education, just the willingness to want to serve. So we do trainings for our LSC members. And also as we were, in this election process, we did about 3 workshops for the broader community to let them know about councils and also how to run and serve. So our office does support in that way as well.
Very quickly, I mean, this conversation has already been very informative, but it's about to get twice as so, because joining us on the live line as well is our very own Rufus Williams. Hey, Mr. Williams, how are you? Morning host.
Yes, of course.
Hi, Mr. Williams.
Hi, Rufus.
How's everybody?
Nice to be on the call with you. I'm honored to be with you.
Well, thank you for the work that you're doing there. I just wanted to jump in because these do become very important and they've been dwarfed with all the other election information that's gone on. But these local school councils, I mean, this is where the real action is. If you think about schools, the local school councils are the body that's responsible for hiring and firing principals. And principals are the head of the enterprise. So it's a very important job in all the schools that exist. And because we are in the depths of this election and because the local school council election comes right up on the heels of it tomorrow, hopefully those who have children in the schools are very well aware of these elections tomorrow. And those who are in the community who want to get engaged are also aware. When these local school councils first began back in the 80s and people were really looking to get involved in schools, we had more people looking to run than there were available seats. That tends to have changed, particularly now that we've come to a point that we have an elected school board. So all those things are important and all of them are good places for people to engage with the schools and engage with children, engage with what's going on in the community. But these positions, of which they exist at every school, are important. So maybe you can share with us, are people coming out to run? Do you have enough candidates running for the local school councils? Because I know there was a period of time when we were starting to run into not enough people who were interested and there was still some open seats on these councils.
Hold that thought, Ms. Ford, Director Ford. We're right up on the break and we're going to hit it on time so that we have to cut off your answer. So. And everybody's waiting with bated breath. You're listening to Atiba and LaDonna Raeh and Rufus Williams. We'll be right back.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chantel Franklin knows the struggle because she's lived it. As a child, she didn't always have a home to go to, changing schools constantly, struggling to get by. But she turned her troubles into triumph. She's dedicated her life to making sure no other children fall through the cracks. Chantel Franklin helped deliver for us in the Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office, defending our rights and pushing back against Donald Trump's harmful policies. Now, Chantel is running for the State House as a Democrat to keep fighting for us. Chantel will work to make housing more affordable and accessible so no child grows up facing housing insecurity like she did. And Chantel will stand up to Donald Trump's harmful policies, including his ICE raids whenever they try to attack our neighbors. Vote for Chantel Franklin by March 17th. That's Chantel Franklin by March 17th. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Chantel Franklin or any federal candidate or candidate.
This is Commissioner Larry Rogers, here to tell you about my friend Judge Michael Cabanargi. For years, I worked side by side with Michael to fix our property tax system and protect homeowners. We can trust Judge Michael Cabanargi. That's why he is endorsed by the Democratic Party and has the highest bar rankings in the race. Judge Cabanargi is the only candidate with judicial experience, and he deserves our vote on March 17th.
Paid for by Friends of Cabanargi.
Illinois, we need to be able to trust our next senator. And Juliana Stratton isn't being honest about who she is. Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running the Broadview ICE Detention Center. ICE raids Chicago. Stratton benefits from ICE contractor cash. Juliana Stratton even got caught lying about refusing money from MAGA donors. We can't trust Juliana Stratton. Democrat Robin Kelly is a real progressive. Unbought, unbossed.
Outstanding members of the House of Representatives, Robin Kelly.
Barack Obama knows. Robin Kelly always fights for us. Lowering costs, raising wages, stopping gun violence. Real progressive Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate. Endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus and elect Democratic women. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's tax season, and by now, I know you're a bit tired of the numbers, but here's an important one you need to hear. $16 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud. Not all grim news. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second for your personal information and alerts you to threats that you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to fix it. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK, 1-800-LifeLock or lifelock.com. Terms do apply.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Here we go again. More nonsense. Corporate big shots come here, promise to help the community, and when it's over, we get boarded up buildings, they get pockets of cash. Same old, same old. That's who Ahmed Karar spent his career working for, corporations that hurt our community. Karar sold us out to get ahead. How can we trust him to work for us when we know he's worked for them?
Senator Emo Jones III is doing big things for our community. As our state senator, he eliminated the statewide tax on groceries, and Jones got $63 million to repair our infrastructure in the South Side. That means more jobs. Jones has stood up to Donald Trump and held ICE accountable. Now, March 17th, we can re-elect Democrat Emo Jones III so he can keep working for us to bring down costs and make us safer. Cast your ballot for Emo Jones III. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Emo Jones III or any federal candidate or committee.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. In Ryan downtown to 95th, slow go 17 minutes. I-57 Ryan to I-80 4-minute delay, 19 minutes. Bishop Ford Ryan to I-80 94, no delays, 12 minutes. Stevenson to South Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State stop and go traffic, 27 minutes. Eisenhower Wolf to Post Office, slow go 21 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, slow moving traffic 33 minutes. In Eden's Montrose Lake Cook, smooth sailing 14 minutes. Rutherford to Day Chicago, Snow ends in windy, high of 28 and a low of 9. Tomorrow morning, sub-zero wind chills, high of 23 and a low of 19. It's currently 26 degrees and partly cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
We are back on the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Raeh, and our good friend, morning show host Rufus Williams is on the live line with Dr. Kashasha Ford, or Director Kashasha Ford. She might be a doctor too. I'm not sure.
I'm an attorney. I have a Juris Doctor, so I guess maybe that counts.
There we go. That absolutely counts. Thank you so much for joining us, and you're educating us on all things LSC. Rufus, if you could restate your question right before the break.
Yeah, I just stated simply, so often we come to these points and there's been, at the initial onset of LSCs, a lot of people interested in getting engaged. As time has gone on, it goes through cycles. There were fewer people getting engaged in LSCs for a time, and I'm curious, given now that we have an elected school board with 21 members coming up later this year, are people still engaged in LSCs, and are you finding enough people to run for the spots that are open?
Thank you so much. That's a really great question and also point. So we, for this election cycle, had over 6,600 people run for seats. We have about 6,145 seats available. Now, every seat probably won't be filled at the end of this election, but there's always opportunities to fill vacancies. And if there's any like information we can glean from the last election cycle, we had about 95% of our school LSCs had enough members for quorum, which is actually really great. Because if you think about, if you don't have quorum in these bodies as a board member, you can't conduct business. You know this, Mr. Williams. And so we're looking forward we're kind of on track for that number now, but there will always be vacancies, and we're looking forward to, as soon as July 1 starts and the new cycle begins, working with schools to help recruit and fill those vacancies. Of course, we want 100% of our seats filled, but that's not always something that has happened.
How does a voter identify which category, whether it be parent or community, that they represent?
Sure. So the way our ballots are set up, we have parent and community voters vote on the same ballot, right? So the ballot for parent community is one ballot. It's divided in half. We have our parent candidates on one side and then our community candidates on the other side. On that parent and community ballot, voters can select up to 5 people that they like to be on that school's council. So what people would need when they come into the space to vote, they have to show that they're eligible to vote in that particular election, right? So if you're a parent, you have to show 2 things to the judge. One, that you have a child that attends that school, and another piece of reliable ID that shows their identity, right? If you're a community voter, you need to bring in 2 pieces of reliable identification, one that shows your identity, and then another that shows that you live within the school's attendance area or voting district. So those are the types of things you have to show to vote in those elections.
We've got about a minute left, Rufus. Since you're our guest host, if you want to help take us home on this.
Sure, I was going to jump off anyway, but these are really important positions. And I will simply say, I was once the president of the Board of Education, but immediately prior to that, I was the president of the local school council. And before that, I was a member of the local school council. And before that, I was a parent at the school. I think, and I say all that to simply say, get involved in your child's education, get involved in the schools, be productive, and be helpful. And this is a wonderful way to do that, to really have an impact, a positive impact in ways that impacts not only your child, but impacts the entirety of the school. And who knows what happens after that. But it's just a good way to engage. And Attorney Ford, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Thanks for coming on with them this afternoon to really lay this out, because this is important. It gets lost in all these other things that are going on in the world today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Come out and vote on Wednesday, March 18th. I know people are coming out to vote on tomorrow, but don't forget about local school council elections on Wednesday, March 18th. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
And those elections take place at the individual schools, correct?
At the individual schools, yes. Yes.
Thank you, Director Ford. We appreciate your time today. And
Thank you.
Again, you've been very insightful.
Thank you. And don't forget to vote.
That's right. I love it.
Drive it home. Drive it home. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. All right, guys, it's straight up at 4:00. When we come back, therapist Maya Akai joins us. Today is all things voting. All things voting, but different conversations, different areas, the areas of interest. Here we're going to talk about the trauma of the non-voter. Is that right?
The trauma of political participation, period, in the Black community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And later on in the show, we've got Professor Bob Starks joining us, as well as Pastor Rich Redmond. They're going to give us a historical view of where we've kind of lost our power as a voting bloc. It's going to be a great conversation. You're listening to Atiba and LaDonna Raeh. We'll be right back.
Go vote.
Happy Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Pritzker pushes new higher education goals for Illinois. Charges dropped for 2 Broadview 6 protesters. 3 arrested after high-speed police chase in Chicago's suburbs. And Oscar's Best Original Screenplay. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, WVON 1690, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's PIN News Now.
That's the sound of blowing snow that's adding to severe weather and significant travel disruptions for thousands across the U.S. Over 3,300 flights were canceled as of last check, with the storm impacting several major airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, and American Airlines. Democrats on the Foreign Affairs Committee are demanding top Trump administration officials appear before a panel for testimony on the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. Members said Congress must understand how the negotiations were conducted. Democratic lawmakers on the panel issued a letter calling on several Trump officials, including Secretary of State Mark Rubio and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to testify. And Hollywood's biggest night is in the books. One of the winners is African-American Michael B. Jordan.
I want to thank Mike and Pam for believing in this dream, this vision of Ryan Coogler, and betting on the culture and betting on original ideas and original artistry.
He took home his first Oscar for his role in Sinners. Now back to you, Doug.
All right. Thanks and happy Monday. Today, President Trump took questions from reporters at the Kennedy Center, and the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran was a hot topic. The conflict enters week 3. He said airstrikes have decimated their military. This after messaging over the weekend that Iran wants to throw in the towel and work out a ceasefire deal.
They're talking to our people. I don't know if they say that to you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They're negotiating. You know, somebody said, well, would you talk to them? I talk to everybody, because sometimes good things come out of it.
But despite conversations over working out a deal, Trump affirmed that.
I don't know if they're ready yet. They're taking a pounding. I don't know if they're ready yet. And we don't even know their leaders. Look, all of their leaders are dead, as far as we know. But they're all dead.
But Iran's foreign minister hit back on CBS's Face the Nation, claiming that his country never sought a ceasefire deal or any talks and is committed to protecting themselves for however long it takes. The war in its 16th day has driven a barrel of oil well over $100 and is costing American taxpayers $1 billion a day. Meanwhile, as President Trump told furloughed TSA employees to go back to work after hundreds left their jobs in response to a lack of DHS funding related to ICE and the partial government shutdown, Black TSA union leaders in Atlanta spoke out today at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport to talk about the challenges and solutions.
We had the chance to talk to so many TSA agents, and they're saying people can't come to work because they don't have child care, gas is high, they can't get here. But what we were able to do is come up with a solution. This is not a partisan problem. It's actually a problem for all people.
The leaders are calling on Congress to pass immediate funding to end the stalemate tied to immigration fights. They want aviation protections to guarantee pay for TSA and air traffic controllers during future shutdowns. In the interim, Black Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens has stepped in with free parking and meal vouchers to ease the pain while the union and community drives collect food for affected TSA employees.
We brought thousands of dollars worth of food here today to make sure that the TSA workers can get something to eat.
A large amount of TSA workers at the airport are Black and are already living paycheck to paycheck. And Folly, Ruth Chris Steakhouse, fresh under new ownership, is making sure patrons stick to its business casual dress code, calling for no hats, no gym wear, no tank tops, no exposed underwear, and no offensive logos. Some Black leaders and customers are pushing back, arguing that the hat and SAG rule unfairly targets Black people. However, it's important to note that sister brand Capital Grille allows hats but still bans athletic wear. Stay connected and subscribe and follow BIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm Doug Davis for the Black Information Network. Have a great Monday. And of course, stay safe out there.
This is Congressman Danny Davis saying, don't fall for the okie doke. One mistake on your income tax does not make you a corrupt politician. Charges made, charges dropped. I know LaShawn Ford. He's a good father, a reliable public servant who represents the people and not the PACs. He is known by us. We know him. He knows us. He lives among us, visit our schools, eat at our restaurants. 19 years in the state legislature, protecting Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SNAP, ex-offenders, and all the rest. The crypto people don't want LaShawn in Washington because they know that he will represent us and not them. Let's send our representative to Washington, LaShawn K. Ford, Punch 31. Paid for by Danny K. and Dr. Vera G. Davis.
It's Rufus Williams. Every weekday morning from 7 to 9, I break down what's really going on, politics, power, and the people shaping our communities. Think of it like your morning newspaper, headlines, context, and what it actually means, so you can take it in, sit with it, and move smarter through your day. If you're part of the Roo Crew, you already know. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, the comments are a whole other show. A family reunion happening in real time. Listen live or on the WVON app, or join us on Facebook Live. It's the Rufus Williams Show, weekdays 7 to 9, right here on 1690 WVON.
Illinois, we need to be able to trust our next senator. And Juliana Stratton isn't being honest about who she is. Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running the Broadview ICE Detention Center. ICE raids Chicago. Stratton benefits from ICE contractor cash. Juliana Stratton even got caught lying about refusing money from MAGA donors. We can't trust Juliana Stratton. Democrat Robin Kelly is a real progressive. Unbought, unbossed.
Outstanding members of the House of Representatives, Robin Kelly.
Barack Obama knows. Robin Kelly always fights for us. Lowering costs, raising wages, stopping gun violence. Real progressive Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate. Endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus and elect Democratic women. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown on 95th. Slow go, 20 minutes. I-57, Ryan's I-80, no delays, 14 minutes. Bishop Ford, Rhines I-80, 94, no delays, 12 minutes. Stevenson to Saba Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State, stop and go traffic, 30 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolf to Post Office, stop and go traffic. Update, slow go, 21 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare, slow moving traffic, 32 minutes. At Edens, Montrose Lake Cook, smooth sailing, 15 minutes. Your weather for today, Chicago. Snow ends and windy, high of 28 and a low of 9. Tomorrow, morning sub-zero wind chills, high of 23 and a low of 19. It's currently 26 degrees and cloudy and snowy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690.
Got questions about where to go vote? No problem. Visit WVON.com for our complete voters guide. WVON Votes.
From the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on Chicago's Essential Storyteller, 1690 WVON.
No matter who you are, shine bright to see. You can truly be what you can truly be.
Friday night of premieres returns to Vaughn TV beginning March 20th. Join us for 4 powerful nights of storytelling featuring compelling feature films and a special short film showcase highlighting bold new voices. From gripping documentaries to thought-provoking dramas, these are stories that challenge perspective, spark conversation, and stay with you long after the credits roll. Friday night of premieres is your destination for meaningful cinema, a month of films that inform, provoke, and inspire. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, and or at VON.TV.
All right, you're listening to WVON 1690. Not like you didn't know that, but if you're on Facebook Live, make sure you share the show because we have a lot to share today and every day on every show. And you can hit the phone lines at any time, 773-591-1690, and hit those comments. But watch this. We've been talking about voting and political participation, but sometimes it looks like we don't necessarily engage, or we're detached from making a decision or even participating at all. And sometimes that is connected to something way deeper than just not feeling like going out into the snow that we saw earlier today. It could be trauma, it could be frustration and emotional fatigue. Joining us now is licensed mental health therapist Maya Akai, who works with individuals and families navigating trauma and emotional stress. Welcome to the afternoon show, Maya Akai.
Good afternoon, LaDonna and Atiba. It's always a joy. I feel like whenever I come on the show, I instantly get a musical fix every time.
Oh, absolutely. You're in a long, you're in for a long afternoon of that.
Yes, love it, love it, love it.
All right, so this is a conversation that LaDonna and I have been looking forward to because, in Chicago, there are pockets in the city and far too many for our liking of just historically low voter turnout. And the more local the election, the lower the turnout. And I'm talking there are wards with 5 and 9 and 13 and 17% voter participation. These are people that have tens of thousands of eligible voters, and many of whom are not coming out to vote. We have these conversations all the time, Ms. Akai, where people tell us, well, the parties are the same. So they feel, disenchanted because it doesn't matter because the parties are the same. So what does it matter if they vote? They also say that, we try and, poke people and prod people by saying, hey, we had to bleed and die for this right. And they say, that doesn't mean anything to me. You're not going, they'll say, you're not going to guilt me into this, because they've made up in their mind somehow that not voting is as impactful or more impactful than voting.
And they would be right. It is impactful because if you do not cast your vote, you don't participate. It's just like voting for, let's say, the wrong candidate if it doesn't turn out right.
Indeed. So what I found is I hear when we have these conversations, if you listen closely, what you're hearing is trauma. You are hearing the legitimate concerns and exasperations of a people that have been disaffected, disenchanted, and disrespected for so long that they have done the one thing that Reverend Jesse Jackson would not want us to do, and that's lose hope. So that's one thing we wanted to address with you today, just how trauma has impacted our voting habits as an African American community.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to realize one of the things, I mean, the relationship between Black people and politics has been at odds since the beginning that Black people arrived involuntarily to this country. You know, we cite 1619, but we know that slavery began as early as the 1500s. Within, other Europeans bringing them over. So we know it's early. So if you think about it, the relationship that Black people have with politics is instantly built on trauma, from the fact that we had to deal with economic disenfranchisement and wealth gaps, voting rights, political, obviously, participation. There's so many things, health and, social disparities. We have always been behind the 8 ball. There is no good relationship with Black people, government, and or politics. Everything within our experience has always been traumatic. First, you're being told that your property, treat it like real estate. And this was your government, this was politics dictating these things. So if you think about it historically, there has never been a time for Black people to really feel comfortable with the ideal of politics, because politics has created our trauma from the very beginning.
So how is it possible? Because I know someone's saying, well, that has nothing to do with me. That's history. We are here today. This shouldn't affect me mentally. How do the two connect?
If someone said it doesn't affect them mentally, I'd say, well, you know what? I'm really happy for you that somehow you can exist in a world where you don't see how other people are impacted by policy, even if it doesn't impact you. There are some policies that happen do not impact me, and probably you or Atiba, honestly. But that does not mean I'm ever going to lose sight of the bigger picture, that there are other people that don't have that same opportunity. And so to be so exclusive or one-minded, which this gets down to when people think this way, being individualistic versus collective. And a lot of times what I feel you see within the Black community, not everywhere, because I don't like generalizations, is that the idea of a village, little by little, is being broken down. People see their existence as very individual, that I have to fend for me. I have to take care of mine. That wasn't always our mindset. Hence, we could move. When I move, you move, just like that. That's how it was back in the day. We didn't move without thinking about one another, but that has shifted greatly, and people think far more individual than they do collective. Our community has been under fire for so long. People now have this mentality of, I got to take care of mine. I can't worry about you. And that's the part that's difficult. You guys said something, and I've always, as a suburbanite, looked at Chicago very interesting. So when you talk about low voter turnout, in different wards and things like that, the thing I think about, though, is ask yourself a question. And this is just pure honesty. Depending upon where you live in the city, you may look around your community and you see food, deserts, poor education systems. Your school systems within your respective area are not good. There's no real commerce or jobs. There's nothing really happening in your community. In fact, you drive down some streets, you see trash, lots are vacant, not taken care of. I'm gonna ask yourself a question. If that's the community you're moving in.
Wait, hold that question. This sounds really good. Okay. We're gonna go to traffic and weather. Okay. We come back. I want you to ask that question, and I want to talk about how the new poll tax looks in modern day slave. Never mind, I won't say the word slavery. Okay. We'll be back, guys.
Okay.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hello, this is Congressman Danny Davis, and I want to tell you why I'm supporting Tony Preckwinkle for Cook County Board President. When Donald Trump targeted our community and deployed mass ICE agents onto our streets, Tony fought back, barring ICE from county buildings, especially our hospitals, and with Governor Pritzker, defeated Trump in court. Tony has also taken on the financial pressure facing our family. She led the effort to eliminate medical debt in Cook County, work that has now erased $1.5 billion for our residents. For 15 years, she's balanced the county budget without raising property taxes. expanded health care to more than 400,000 people through county care, and invested hundreds of millions of dollars in community safety and small business. That's why I'm with Tony. I'm Congressman Danny Davis. Join me, Governor Pritzker, and so many others across Cook County in supporting Tony Preckwinkle for County Board President.
Paid for by Preckwinkle for President.
At Fifth Third Bank, being part of the community means investing in its future. From supporting local businesses to funding neighborhood initiatives, we're here to create lasting opportunities. It's our commitment to Chicago. This is banking, a Fifth Third better. Learn how we're making a difference at 53.com. That's 53.com. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
This is Congressman Danny Davis. For decades, the Cook County Assessor's Office was plagued by corruption. That's all changed with Fritz Kagi. Fritz Kagi brought real transparency to the Assessor's Office, and he's made it easier and more affordable for the people who need it most: seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities. Under Fritz, hundreds of thousands of residents have seen lower tax bills, and for many others, he's kept increases down by making sure wealthy commercial property owners finally pay their fair share. This is what reform looks like: honest, accountable, and on the side of working people. I'm Danny Davis. Join me to support Democrat Fritz Kagi for Cook County Assessor. Primary day is Tuesday, March 17th.
Paid for by Friends for Fritz.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention, if you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-217-9033 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-217-9033. That's 800-217-9033. Again, 800-217-9033.
Chantel Franklin knows the struggle because she's lived it. As a child, she didn't always have a home to go to, changing schools constantly, struggling to get by. But she turned her troubles into triumph. She's dedicated her life to making sure no other children fall through the cracks. Chantel Franklin helped deliver for us in the Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office, defending our rights and pushing back against Donald Trump's harmful policies. Now, Chantel is running for the State House as a Democrat to keep fighting for us. Chantel will work to make housing more affordable and accessible so no child grows up facing housing insecurity like she did. And Chantel will stand up to Donald Trump's harmful policies, including his ICE raids whenever they try to attack our neighbors. Vote for Chantel Franklin by March 17th. That's Chantel Franklin by March 17th. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Chantel Franklin or any federal candidate or candidate.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
We are back on the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. What happened to the music? That was so good.
What happened?
No worries, no worries. Listen,
that was very
Atiba
good.
Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh, it's about 23 after the hour, and we're just getting into this conversation about how trauma has impacted the Black vote and continues to do so. We are joined by licensed therapist Maya Akai. And right before the break, Miss Akai, you were setting up a great question.
And I interrupted your boiling pot.
No, I get it. So I was recapping, like, now think about environment is so conducive of action. So I've always noticed, like, as a suburbanite coming into the city, you drive through a neighborhood, you see a neighborhood, let's say that there's a lot of abandoned buildings, empty lots, there's trash, it just is not upkept. School systems aren't good. There's food deserts. A list of things that are not being fixed. The things that normally would be fixed by the people you choose to elect. That's their job. So I'm going to ask yourself a question. If I stand in the midst of what seems chaotic to me or a lack of any care of attention, the idea of voting to me seems like, what am I voting for? I vote, nothing has changed. Remember, when people vote, it's based on hope and optimism. A politician will tell you something that they're going to do to improve the situation that you're in, correct? And people vote based on that belief. So when you repeatedly do not see a change in your environment or systems that are allegedly being addressed, eventually you're going to start to ask yourself, what am I voting for?
It feels like an exercise in futility.
It feels like an exercise in futility. And you want to know what's the bigger slap in the face? And people aren't going to like when I say it. I know how to make people not like me very easily. When you vote for somebody who looks like you and you feel like they failed you. So if I can't anticipate or expect that we have a shared interest to improve our community by making better schools and options for food and housing opportunities, all the disparities that our grandparents, great-grandparents, and so on and so forth fought for and believed in. And by the way, they saw outcomes in their actions that they fought for. And now we stand at a precipice where these things are no longer happening. Lots of promises, but not a lot of changes. So people have come to believe, especially Black people, there's no point in me voting. Not everybody, because that's not going to apply to everybody. I'm always going to vote because I know what people died for, so I could have the right to do it. So I'm never going to not vote. That's it. But there are some people who have just given up because they don't see outcomes. There's no point of an action if the outcome does not meet your effort. And I think a lot of Black people have voting fatigue because they don't see enough positive outcomes in the action.
Well, I'm sure that we have callers on the line right now that are more than willing to tell us about their fatigue, if they have it. If they have it. But Eddie is first up. Hey, Eddie, thanks for calling.
Eddie.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Swell-tastic.
Good. First I got to push back on the Black folks' ancestors died for the right to vote. Our ancestors died for equality for Blacks in the United States of America, and voting is one of those aspects of our equality. And they certainly didn't die just for us to vote Democrat all the time.
Oh.
So I think when we say that, we are not being, and I'm not saying that you are, Maya. I'm just saying that's used so flippantly, but it's not used. There's no measurement. It's not being measured and saying, well, you know what? They didn't just die for us to vote. They died so we could have equality. And actually, not voting is a part of the right to vote because we live in a country where you have that right. So moving on from that, you don't even have to be economically challenged to have voter apathy or voter fatigue or frustration or trauma even.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Jesse Jackson was at the, let's say vibrant or actually able to do what he has historically done for us, Black folks, we knew what we was voting for, and we had a tangible, we had deliverables to be delivered in exchange for our vote.
Mm-hmm.
That talk seems to be not only frowned upon, but pushed underneath the rug, and nobody wants to talk about it. There's no more Black agenda or anything. So a lot of us feel like, I'm not just standing in line to make sure some Black folks got great health care and a good pension and can further their lives, but they're not really concerned about the rest of the Black folks. So it's really just gotten perverted. And that's why I think the biggest voting bloc out there, if they could ever organize and just come up with 3 points that they actually agreed on, is the non-voter, and they don't realize how much power they have.
When I hear you say that our people didn't, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, really. Obviously, our people died for equality, and so many other things fall under that umbrella. And part of equality is having the right to have a say-so in what goes on in this country, and especially or in your state. And when they have fought for us to have that equality, voting is under that umbrella. So I just really feel strongly that the door was opened for us by our ancestors. But even in knowing that, Maya, what do you say to our caller?
I'm going to say that Eddie, he's spot on in many things. It is your right to vote. You have it to use it or not use it. So that gets back to when you decide to vote, why you decide. I vote because I believe in uplifting people. And no matter how I'm doing, I'm always looking out for somebody else because I was raised to believe in the village. And I'm never going to abandon that mentality, no matter where I get or what I have. So, but one thing we have to say, we always must remain contextual because we are talking about voting. So I'm going to agree with them. The plight and battle and the loss of our ancestors isn't just about voting. It's a much broader and bigger picture.
Absolutely.
So we are kind of watering it down, but we're watering it down to have the conversation specifically about voting. So we always have to be contextual. That is one of the things that were the outcome that we were searching for, is a right to have a voice. And voting technically within this country is dressed up and walked out, is your right to have a voice. It is the one thing how you can express what you believe in and what you support. It's where you put your vote. And I do agree with him. Your political affiliation is totally up to you. You don't have to be a Democrat. You don't have to be, a Republican. Many people right now, from what I can see, are highly disenfranchised with both political parties because they do not feel it represents their interest at all. So at that point, it's an obsolete thought even with political parties. So I don't feel he's off, but it is someone's right. But ask yourself that question. If I have the knowledge and the voice to step up to pull you up, then we have to be mindful of that. Because when Black people don't show up, one last thought, this is what people say. Well, they didn't vote, they didn't show up, so it must not matter.
All right, guys. We're going to go to news, traffic, and weather. We're going to come back to these phone lines. I see they are lit up. Do not hang up. We'll be right back on the afternoon show with Atiba, Buchanan, and LaDonna Raeh, and our special guest, Maya Akai.
Hope you're having a marvelous Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's happening in your local and national news. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is calling for new statewide goals to increase the number of residents with college degrees or workforce credentials. The state previously aimed for 60% of adults to hold a post-secondary credential by 2025, but Illinois reached about 57%, falling slightly short. Pritzker signed an executive order creating a working group to study workforce needs and recommend updated education targets. The group is expected to propose new goals and strategies by December 1st, 2026 to help strengthen the state's economy and workforce. In other news, federal prosecutors have dismissed charges against two members of the Broadview Six, a group indicted after a 2025 protest outside a U.S. ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois. The charges were dropped against Catherine Katz Sharp, a Cook County board candidate, and activist Jocelyn Walsh. The protesters had been accused of conspiring to impede a federal immigration agent during the demonstration. Four other defendants, including congressional candidate Kat Abuzale, still face charges related to the protest. In other news, 3 men from the Chicago area were arrested for allegedly leading police on a high-speed chase from DuPage County to Kane County. The suspects, Cameron McClellan, Troy Hughes, and Dante Williams, face multiple charges related to weapons and fleeing police. Authorities say they recovered a stolen handgun and a loaded rifle during the incident. 3 men are scheduled to appear in court on April 6. And the film Sinners is being named Best Original Screenplay at the 98th Academy Awards. Director Ryan Coogler accepted the award.
So I want to thank the.
This is Coogler's 3rd nomination this year, and his first Oscars win. Sinners was nominated in 16 categories, including Best Casting, Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Original Song.
You guys, I want to thank y'all for the gifts that y'all movies were and for y'all friendship over the past years and months.
I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690.
This is Commissioner Larry Rogers, here to tell you about my friend Judge Michael Cabinargi. For years, I worked side by side with Michael to fix our property tax system and protect homeowners. We can trust Judge Michael Cabinargi. That's why he is endorsed by the Democratic Party and has the highest bar rankings in the race. Judge Cabinargi is the only candidate with judicial experience, and he deserves our vote on March 17th.
Paid for by Friends of Cabinargi.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Who is everyone supporting to be our next state rep? Democrat Asia Kearney, a lifelong South Side resident. Asia's ready to work with Governor Pritzker and fight back against Donald Trump. She's a union member, so you know she's backed by Illinois SEIU. They'll work together to bring down costs and create good-paying jobs. And Asia's a tireless advocate for good public schools. That's why Chicago Teachers Union, Illinois Federation of Teachers, and Cook County College Teachers Union are supporting her campaign. Community leaders like Commissioner Carrie Steele and Alderman William Hall support her because she's committed to keeping us safe. If you're ready to elect a leader who will work hard to bring down costs, strengthen our public schools, protect your rights, and focus on public safety, you need to be with Asia Kearney too. Cast your ballot for Asia Kearney by March 17th. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Asia Kearney or any federal candidate or committee.
This is Kamini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONwealthshow.com.
Komini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I don't know why you love me like I do. I know all the changes that you put me through. You stole my money and my cigarette, and I haven't seen how to have you.
Welcome back. The afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. Thank you for sharing the show on Facebook Live. And if you haven't already, please hit the share button. It's okay. Thank you. And these comments just keep coming. Anything stand out to you on these comments, Atiba?
Oh, we always have great comments because we have the best listeners. Pamela says, are we truly using our political agency to get the outcomes that addresses our need as a collective or individuals? Political agency goes beyond simply voting. We agree with that. We are not here in this conversation. I mean, right now we're talking about the trauma behind not voting. But if we're talking about voting or not voting, I'm not here to ever suggest that voting is all anyone needs to do.
Oh no.
Right?
No.
That's just step one.
Yes.
of many. But you're absolutely right, Pamela. We are with you that again, that's just the beginning. Absolutely. And it is not an end all be all. We're joined on the live line by licensed therapist Maya Akai. And we want to get back to your calls because you guys have been patient. Miss Karen, thank you for calling. You're on
Karen.
with Atiba and LaDonna.
Hey, how you all doing?
Good.
Thank you, young lady Micaiah, and especially Eddie, because we have grown accustomed to cliches. And when we say, "Oh, people voted to die," no, that is a lie. You have the right. What's so messed up is I hear a lot of the elite say, "Take one for the team." Take one for the team. So that means if I vote for who you want me to vote for, your team get taken care of and we don't. Saturday, LaDonna, when I called into your show and you said if you keep doing stuff, then you won't have anything. Of course, I believe that you're a very intelligent businesswoman, that you wouldn't give away all your goods for another. But we're in the phase as people that we don't have the village anymore. Back in the day, we never charged anybody on how to open up a candy store or a business, or we'll tell you help the next person. If I'm already making $1 million and you trying to learn how to make $1 million, you can't afford to pay me. So why don't I just help you out for free? And then when you get where you're going, then you help the next person. Let me just say this. The reason why many of them feared me in the transportation business is because I created millionaires. And guess what? I never charged nobody a dime, so that when the industry did fall, guess what? The village came back to help lift me up. If we don't become a village and quit just looking out for self, I just ask everybody, look out the front door of your Black community and you tell me, where's the village? Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Miss Karen. And that's something that you had intimated to earlier, Ms. Akai, when you talked about you evaluating, again, are we moving in any form of unity as a collective? Or is it all about this, not just individualism, but rugged individualism?
Mm-hmm. And that becomes a thing that for a lot of people they struggle with, because you do have some Black people who feel, okay, well, we're past that point. This is no longer the civil rights movement. They don't identify the same way. I think somebody in your post had made a comment about perhaps we didn't educate our youth the way we should have. There's a danger when you say things like, I want my children to have better than me. I always ask people, what does that mean? Because if you're like not bestowing them with knowledge about their history and things of those nature, this is why, think about it. Last election, you had people like Chance the Rapper who mobilized to get people out because he was seeking those young voices. Because to be honest, many young people do not know their history. They have no idea their history at all. Because one, it's never been taught in school. So that's not the reason you should know it. You know it because someone within your family, your parents has shared that with you, or you seek it out. So there is a lack of voting. I will also say that there's no education about why we should be out and voting. The normalization of trauma within the Black community, too many things are normalized and accepted and not challenged. And I think because a lot of people become disenfranchised and they don't see the outcomes from voting that they want, then they don't. Think about this. And I challenged many people. And of course, I told you I'm easy not to like when it comes to stuff like this. When President Obama was elected, a lot of Black people thought that he was going to be the savior, that he was going to step in office and make all these sweeping changes for Black people and everything about our situation was going to change. Well, that's because either they didn't watch Schoolhouse Rock or they didn't understand politics. Because, they told you about how politics work on Schoolhouse Rock. Every group from immigrants to people within the LGBT community, all these different people, their lobbyists put together things to pass laws, and they brought it to President Obama. So DREAM Acts and things like that got put into law because there's a process that people don't understand. So when Black people were upset, not everybody, that President Obama didn't all of a sudden make sweeping changes, my first question was this: what exactly was the Black Caucus doing? Because they sitting right there in Washington. That was supposed to be our standing representation. Why were there not laws on the books to change the things that we found and deemed to be important? We voted to put him in office, but like Karen just said, there's a process. Eddie said it too. There's a process that has to be followed. And if you don't understand politics or government, it doesn't magically happen, people. You have to be action oriented. There will be sacrifices. Think about it. People did not die without us being able to stand where we are right now as Black people. People died so we could be here.
That's right.
Amen. Amen. Let's keep it going. We've got Ron on line 5.
Collection plate.
Yeah, no, I'm not traumatized. Actually, I'm looking forward to going to vote tomorrow. There are 3 wonderful Republican candidates who I agree with their policies, as I did with the president. Yes, see, I vote on policies and what I think is best for me, my family, and the community. So yes, I am looking forward to it. But see, okay, now y'all have to listen to me. Because let me show you how confused Black people. LaDonna, week before last, you had the attorney on here in London, and you had the guy over contracts. You know, had the Saturday show,
Yeah,
right?
Larry Ivory, yes.
Okay, now, okay. So they were talking about the lack of contracts for Black people. They went on forever. Before Ted London left, that's what he said. Pull the tape. Well, Black people, they're going to vote for Pritzker as well as they should. That's dumb. And then Tax Doctor came on last week and said we should start right there by not voting for him. I'm for Ted Dabrowski. But see, that's our thinking. Well, you go through all the numbers. You're not getting anything. And guess what? Black people going to show up tomorrow and I'll vote for Pritzker. And then whoever Pritzker endorsed. Black people are delusional. That's why I worked around the country for the people in the toss-up state for Black people, so we could pick the right person, and we did. But
thank you, good sir. We appreciate it. We got it.
You didn't let me ask him if he got the T-shirt. I always want to ask if he got the MAGA T-shirt.
All right, next time.
All right,
and I'm sure there'll be a next time pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
But let's keep it going. We appreciate you guys calling in. Brother Art is next.
Hey, Art.
Hey, what's going on, young people? First of all, Sister Karen, other brother, and Brother Ron is 100% correct. The young lady is 100% correct. The only thing I part ways with is we cannot give this excuse we give is trauma. It has nothing to do with trauma. We keep recycling the same old losers that do the same old thing and tell us the same old thing. If you don't vote this time, this is the most important election if you don't do it. The same old people want to get into office for the same old reason, so they can get a nice pension, so they can have 2 or 3 pensions and make sure their friends, buddies, associates, or whoever they like gets in these seats so they can be okay. So what that sister is saying is 100% on point. Ron is 100% on point. If you're voting, shoot for vote for your interests. And I have always been saying, by God's permission, it's a lack of a code of conduct in the family value system. And until we have a community code of conduct and a family value system, you cannot teach your young people any history because you're not operating from any principles at all. You just scatter, and young people ain't hearing none of this foolishness you all talking about. They ain't confused. They aren't interested. They want eyelashes, whatever's quick, having fun. And those old people y'all keep getting to the poll, they just want you to put them same dry people in.
Oh, sorry, Art. Sorry about that.
Oh my goodness.
I promise you I wasn't trying to hang up on him. Great call, Art. We appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Art
I
was
think we also know what he was going to say next, so it's kind of okay.
But I think part of,
now focus on the Black family.
But I think part of what I was hearing when I was reading between the lines of what he was saying, and I hear people say this a lot, and I said that doesn't work for me. Throw away the idea of voting for the lesser of 2 evils, because evil is still evil. And if the lesser isn't really standing on a platform that you can see improvement and growth and opportunity that you feel should exist within your community, you vote for them just because the other person, and that's actually why some people don't vote too. They refuse to cast a vote for somebody they feel does not really have their best interest at heart, but the other person is just so awful. They're like, well, I got to vote for somebody. We don't want to get that person in office. So we have now resorted to, often in politics, voting for the lesser of 2 evils. And that doesn't mean that person is even qualified or has the right intentions to move the needle for the community.
So run for office.
I don't know, I'd be dead. That's not an option for me.
I'm just saying, for some people, there is an opportunity for people that are complaining about the candidates that are on the ballots that they can run for office. They can take those positions easily. I mean, it's not easy, I should say. Obviously, the person with the biggest purse and some other pre-qualifications will definitely win, but at least you have put your hat in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go to traffic and weather. When we come back, we're going to go to the phone lines, and Maya Kai's on the line. Guys, we love you. We'll be right back. Traffic and weather.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Illinois, we need to be able to trust our next senator. And Juliana Stratton isn't being honest about who she is. Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running the Broadview ICE Detention Center. ICE raids Chicago. Stratton benefits from ICE contractor cash. Juliana Stratton even got caught lying about refusing money from MAGA donors. We can't trust Juliana Stratton. Democrat Robin Kelly is a real progressive. Unbought, unbossed.
Outstanding members of the House of Representatives, Robin Kelly.
Barack Obama knows. Robin Kelly always fights for us. Lowering costs, raising wages, stopping gun violence. Real progressive Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate. Endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus and elect Democratic women. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
Hi, I'm former Secretary of State Jesse White. And as a leader in government, I always focus on delivering the best possible results to the people. It took training, preparation, and teamwork to make it happen. That's why I'm asking you to join with me in supporting Pat Hines for assessor. He's been a professional assessor in and out of government his entire career. He worked at the Cook County Assessor's Office for over 20 years. He was elected as Lyons Township Assessor and considered one of the best. Pat serves the community as a volunteer firefighter. He will bring fairness to our community and to all of Cook County. It's fair, honest, and transparent. Now more than ever, we need Pat Hines training, experience, and professionalism. Vote Pat Hines, Democrat for assessor. Thank you.
Black Creativity 2026 is now open at the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry. The exhibit features the nation's longest running exhibition of Black art, plus interactive family experiences, STEAM career showcases, youth flight school camps, and signature events throughout the season. From art and innovation to education and community celebration, Black Creativity uplifts the voices, stories, and contributions of Black artists across generations. Buy tickets today at griffinmsi.org.
Here we go again. More nonsense. Corporate big shots come here, promise to help the community, and when it's over, we get boarded up buildings, they get pockets of cash. Same old, same old. That's who Ahmed Karar spent his career working for, corporations that hurt our community. Karar sold us out to get ahead. How can we trust him to work for us when we know he's worked for them?
Senator Emo Jones III is doing big things for our community. As our state senator, he eliminated the statewide tax on groceries, and Jones got $63 million to repair our infrastructure in the South Side. That means more jobs. Jones has stood up to Donald Trump and held ICE accountable. Now, March 17th, we can re-elect Democrat Emo Jones III so he can keep working for us to bring down costs and make us safer. Cast your ballot for Emo Jones III. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Emo Jones III or any federal candidate or committee.
Every Friday at 3 p.m., I step behind the mic with one mission: to cut through the noise. I'm David Seaton, WVON's only conservative voice, and trust me, I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. I'm unapologetically conservative, proudly anti-progressive, and I don't deal in feelings, I deal in facts. If you're looking for sugar-coated opinions, this isn't your stop. But if you want the truth, straight, no chaser, pull up a chair. The David Seaton Show, Fridays at 3 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown on 95th, stop and go traffic. And there is an accident on the right shoulder. Dan Ryan, outbound before 31st Street, 16 minutes. I-57, right into I-80, no delays, 12 minutes. Bishop Ford, Ryan, I-80, 94, 8-minute delay, 20 minutes. Stevenson, DuSable Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State, stop and go traffic, 26 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolf to Post Office, slow go, 20 minutes. Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, slow moving traffic, 34 minutes. And Eden's Montrose, Cook, smooth sailing, 14 minutes. The weather for today, Chicago, snow ends and windy, high of 28 and a low of 9. Tomorrow morning, sub-zero wind chills, high of 23 and a low of 19. It's currently 26 degrees and cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. The afternoon show, Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Raeh on WVON 1690. Thank you for sharing the show and keep those comments coming. They're pretty lengthy, so we'll get a chance to read them at some point. We have licensed therapist Maya Akai on the line with us, coming on every month with these mental health topics. And today we're talking specifically about the trauma that has been involved with voting or being politically involved altogether. I'm going to grab this caller real quick. Looks like I have Pam. Pam, you're live.
Hi. Yes. Hi, LaDonna, Atiba, and Ms. Akai.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to make sure I wasn't one of those people who expected Obama to move heaven and earth. So there were many of us who didn't expect him to just go in and to be, because we knew about the political structure. That's one. Secondly, let me be clear. Voting for me is a spiritual thing, and I am calling on the ancestors to make decisions even when I don't. Maybe I have some doubt about both candidates. But let me make sure we understand. People were killed registering people to vote. We like to say people died for the right to vote. Civil rights leaders, ordinary, regular folk, they were killed, LaDonna, for registering people to vote. So that is the right to vote. So I don't know where, all of these supporters of the adjudicated rapists, they want to do some revisionist history. We can't have it. What's traumatic for me, Ms. Akai, is that we have a rapist in the White House, a racist, and there are so many people who support that. And I don't hear enough candidates who are running in this race even to mention that. It is shameful to have an adjudicated rapist, a child rapist, best friend of a sex trafficker in the White House. So I'm looking for all and any elected official candidate that's going to push back against that.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may dovetail on your point.
Thank you.
Again, Mississippi burning. Like how do we forget this? And this information is so accessible at our fingertips. The KKK was in a murderous mood. It was June 1964, the start of Freedom Summer, a massive 3-month initiative to register Southern blacks to vote, and a direct response to the Klan's own campaign of fear and intimidation. They killed a black man, 2 Jewish guys. Again, this is the history. You ain't gotta like it, but it is what it is. Yes, people were killed for the right to vote.
Yep.
It's not in dispute.
All day.
It's not. And it's the history part has come up a lot. And I would tell people, immerse yourself in it if you don't really know it. Several years ago, my father and I did a civil rights trip. We were going down to Mississippi to visit my sister. We went to the house of Medgar Evers, had a tour, got the history. I saw how he slept on floors with his kids on the mattresses. I was humbled. I saw where he fell down and died in his driveway. We then drove to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, saw that in that museum. And then we went to Montgomery, Alabama. We went to the National Memorial of Peace and Justice. And I was humbled as I walked through that memorial and saw the names hanging from the ceiling that people were lynched, women, children. I was humbled. I walked out in tears. Now, I knew my history, but to see it that way is why I will never, ever take for granted. Nobody asked to be put in that position. There wasn't a single person that was stacked like sardines in a slave ship that ever asked to be that. They were forced into that. And I respect that sacrifice, though they didn't ask for it. And I will never do anything less than try to show up for my people. So voting is a part of how I feel I show up. Now, if people don't agree with that, that's okay. That means maybe you just have a different perspective. But I don't think we should minimize the people who feel passionate and want to do it versus those who do not. It is about choice. But when the chips are down, if you didn't show up, I'm not sure how big you should be in the conversation at some point. If you didn't show up as part of the process, then why are you complaining? Just go along with it then.
Right. And even with voting, that the intention is good, but the action, the follow through has to be even bigger. Don't
Yes.
just vote and have expectations that that person can read your mind because they look like you. You actually have to go through the process of lobbying and going to your your legislator so that they can make some changes from your voice to their ears.
Got to take a call real quick before we go to break. Ron Roberts.
Hey,
Thank you
Ron.
for calling.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
We're good, Mr. Roberts. What's on your mind?
Yes, I wanted to let you know how Tony Pertwin can help me with my medical debt. Not only once, but twice.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was in debt with medical bills of $4,000 or $5,000, and then I get a letter in the mail and saying my debts have been paid off. I was surprised, but I was grateful for that.
So this was out of the Cook County office that was able to help you with this?
Yes, sir.
Madam
Yes,
President.
sir.
Was that the medical debt relief?
Yes, medical
Yep,
debt relief.
I saw that. Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Voting matters.
Yes, it does.
Thank you for the call, Mr. Roberts. We appreciate that. Mr. Kai, you get the last word.
All I can tell people is that voting in politics is hard. We live in a world where a lot of negative things are happening. Black people are familiar with this. This is not our first rodeo. The fact that the assault on things like DEI and things of that nature are happening, we have been entrenched in this for a long time. Hence, there is some people who feel they're tired, they're worn out, and there's other people who are never going to give up the good fight. The bottom line is, until you really do understand an agenda, but I want to ask you a difficult question to everybody listening. You say, what is the Black agenda? Well, you're talking to a bunch of Black people often that can't even agree about anything. We no longer have one single purpose of existence about the right to exist. Now there are other issues. So the question becomes, what does a Black agenda even look like? Start with that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been a very clarifying conversation. And I hope everybody, again, we did our best. And we're going to continue this. But again, whether you agree to vote or not vote or what have you, your thoughts are welcome here. Your thoughts are welcome here. So we appreciate every caller. Sal, Pianki, we see you holding. We'll take you on the other side. Until next time,
Yes,
Mr. Kai.
Miss Maya Kai.
Till next time, always a pleasure.
You were fantastic as always.
I tell you what, if they take away our right to vote, then the ones that don't want to vote will suddenly want to vote. All right, guys, we're going to be back. News, or should I say news, traffic, and weather with Miss Logan Page right here on
We vote on that?
WVON. What? We don't have to vote on that. What are you talking about? Veto.
Thank you, LaDonna, and happy Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Sports betting tax fight intensifies in Illinois. Mom and daughter reported missing from Chicago's west side. Gas prices continue to climb, and airline CEO asks Congress to pay TSA. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, WVON 1690, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's BIN News Now.
That's the sound of blowing snow that's adding to severe weather and significant travel disruptions for thousands across the U.S. Over 3,300 flights were canceled as of last check, with the storm impacting several major airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, and American Airlines. Democrats on the Foreign Affairs Committee are demanding top Trump administration officials appear before a panel for testimony on the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. Members said Congress must understand how the negotiations were conducted. Democratic lawmakers on the panel issued a letter calling on several Trump officials, including Secretary of State Mark Rubio and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to testify. And Hollywood's biggest night is in the books. One of the winners is African-American Michael B. Jordan.
I want to thank Mike and Pam for believing in this dream, this vision of Ryan Coogler, and betting on the culture and betting on original ideas and original artistry.
He took home his first Oscar for his role in Sinners. Now back to you, Doug.
All right. Thanks and happy Monday. Today, President Trump took questions from reporters at the Kennedy Center. And the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran was a hot topic. The conflict enters week 3. He said airstrikes have decimated their military. This after messaging over the weekend that Iran wants to throw in the towel and work out a ceasefire deal.
They're talking to our people. I don't know if they say that to you. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. They're negotiating. Somebody said, well, would you talk to them? I talk to everybody because sometimes good things come out of it.
But despite conversations over working out a deal, Trump affirmed that.
I don't know if they're ready yet. They're taking a pounding. I don't know if they're ready yet. And we don't even know their leaders. Look, all of their leaders are dead, as far as we know. But they're all dead.
But Iran's foreign minister hit back on CBS's Face the Nation, claiming that his country never sought a ceasefire deal or any talks and is committed to protecting themselves for however long it takes. The war in its 16th day has driven a barrel of oil well over $100 and is costing American taxpayers $1 billion a day. Meanwhile, as President Trump told furloughed TSA employees to go back to work after hundreds left their jobs in response to a lack of DHS funding related to ICE and the partial government shutdown, Black TSA union leaders in Atlanta spoke out today at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport to talk about the challenges and solutions.
We had the chance to talk to so many TSA agents, and they're saying people can't come to work because they don't have child care, gas is high, they can't get here. But what we were able to do is come up with a solution. This is not a partisan problem. It's actually a problem for all people.
The leaders are calling on Congress to pass immediate funding to end the stalemate tied to immigration fights. They want aviation protection to guarantee pay for TSA and air traffic controllers during future shutdowns. In the interim, Black Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens has stepped in with free parking and meal vouchers to ease the pain while the union and community drives collect food for affected TSA employees.
We brought thousands of dollars worth of food here today to make sure that the TSA workers can get something to eat.
A large amount of TSA workers at the airport are Black and are already living paycheck to paycheck. And Folly, Ruth Chris Steakhouse, fresh under new ownership, is making sure patrons stick to its business casual dress code, calling for no hats, no gym wear, no tank tops, no exposed underwear, and no offensive logos. Some Black leaders and customers are pushing back, arguing that the hat and SAG rule unfairly targets Black people. However, it's important to note that sister brand Capital Grille allows hats but still bans athletic wear. Stay connected and subscribe and follow BIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. And I'm Doug Davis for the Black Information Network. Have a great Monday. And of course, stay safe out there.
Hello, this is Congressman Danny Davis, and I want to tell you why I'm supporting Tony Preckwinkle for Cook County Board President. When Donald Trump targeted our community and deployed mass ICE agents onto our streets, Tony fought back, barring ICE from county buildings, especially our hospitals, and with Governor Pritzker, defeated Trump in court. Tony has also taken on the financial pressure facing our families. She led the effort to eliminate medical debt in Cook County, work that has now erased $1.5 billion for our residents. For 15 years, she's balanced the county budget without raising property taxes, expanded health care to more than 400,000 people through county care, and invested hundreds of millions of dollars in community safety and small business. That's why I'm with Tony. I'm Congressman Danny Davis. Join me, Governor Pritzker, and so many others across Cook County in supporting Tony Preckwinkle for County Board President.
Paid for by Preckwinkle for President.
Every family deserves care close to home. At PCC Community Wellness Center, we offer prenatal visits, doula support, family medicine, specialty care, parenting support, nurse home visits, and more, all personalized for you. PCC, because strong families build healthy communities. Visit pccwellness.org or call 708-383-0113. Funding provided in whole or in part by Illinois Department of Human Services.
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
This report is brought to you by ComEd, powering lives. Here's a great savings idea. Did you know you've got the power to manage your energy? Yep, from usage alerts to energy savings programs and more. ComEd has all kinds of ideas to help you gain control over your energy cost. Find out more at ComEd.com/energy savings.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Good Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here is your traffic update. Dan Ryan, downtown on 95th. Please be cautious. There is an accident on the right shoulder, 14 minutes. I-57, Ryan to I-80. No delays, 13 minutes. Bishop Ford, Ryan to I-80, 94, 10-minute delay. 23 minutes. Stevenson to South Lakeshore Drive to the Tri-State. Stop and go traffic, 22 minutes. Eisenhower, Wolf to Post Office. Slow go, 17 minutes. Kennedy downtown to O'Hare. Stop and go traffic, 32 minutes. And Eden's Montrose Lake Cook. Smooth sailing, 14 minutes. You're the for today, Chicago. Snow ends and windy, high 28 and a low of 9. Tomorrow morning, sub-zero wind chills, high 23 and a low of 19. It's currently 27 degrees and cloudy. I'm Logan Page, and that's your traffic and weather update on WVON 1690.
Got questions about where to go to vote? No problem. Visit WVON.com for our complete voter's guide. WVON, vote.
From the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on Chicago's Essential Storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Girl, you're looking fine. And I wonder when you spare a minute of the precious time. I really would like to know that if you wanted to. Tell me, baby.
We are back on the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Raeh. About 10 after 5. And again, it is voting season. Guys, it is time. Every show here on WVON is here to help you make your best informed decision. As a matter of fact, if we can talk about the coverage we're going to have tomorrow, it is going to be fantastic. Is it in here?
It is so amazing.
Thank you so much. So tomorrow night, check this out. WVON and VON TV are your election night headquarters. You want to join Rufus Williams, our morning show host, Cleopatra Draper, midday host, and David Seaton, the Friday host from 3 until 6 for a dynamic election night roundtable discussion. It'll bring you insight, context, and a clear view of the races impacting Chicago, from the U.S. Senate to Cook County Board President and the 2nd and 7th congressional races, including everything else that's not listed here. Our team will be also on the ground. LaDonna and I will be outside, guys. I'm going to be covering Melissa Conyers-Irving. LaDonna is going to be covering Jesse Jackson Jr. in his run. We're going to be all over the place. And so you don't want to miss that. All across the city with real-time updates and expert analysis. That's tomorrow night, starting at 6 p.m. until it stops. Live on WVON or watch live on VON TV. When the results come in, WVON and VON TV, we've got Chicago covered.
I love it. And you mentioned boots on the ground, and that's so important when we're bringing together two voices that have obviously spent years working at the intersection of community, leadership, and civic engagement. Joining us is Professor Emeritus Bob Starks, a respected educator and thinker who has helped many understand how civic systems work and how communities can influence change. And we're also joined by Pastor Richmond, a faith leader deeply committed to strengthening communities and connecting spiritual leadership with civic responsibility. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
And it's Rich Redmond.
Thank you.
I did
Thank
say
you.
Rich Redmond. I said,
Well, thank
what did
you.
I say?
both.
Richmond.
Can I just say hello to my good friend Bob while we're all on the line here?
Yeah, good afternoon to you, my friend. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Let's get back together on the phone, okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, look at the bromance.
You guys cut it out. Look at this, Bob.
Well, listen,
we
guys.
got two guys here, Atiba and LaDonna. You guys are just beautiful. I just enjoy the way you handle your conversations. Now I'm gonna shut up and let you guys get your show back.
All right, so here's why we brought you guys in. We had a whole production meeting. We'll be very transparent.
Okay.
We had a whole production meeting.
Don't tell them everything.
Don't tell them everything.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And our leadership, we kind of took a trip down memory lane, and we were just lamenting how things have changed. When we talked earlier today about low voter turnout and the trauma that can be associated with that. But also beyond the trauma, there are systemic things that are different, that have changed over the decades. Some things quickly, some things slowly over time, like precinct captains, right? That 30 years ago, 35, 40 years ago, we saw numbers that were astronomical as far as voter turnout. And it also spoke to, again, the unity that we saw in the Black community, and that unity now in a lot of ways has dissipated. We're hoping that you two gentlemen can help us understand, where did we lose this unity and what systemic things have changed to put us where we are today. I'm going to go to Professor Bob first, if I may.
Yes, things have changed astronomically since the election of Harold Washington. And you're right about precinct captains. Precinct captains were those persons from each political party that carried out the mission of the elected officials in their party to the community people. So you had Republican precinct captains in each ward, and you had Democratic precinct captains in every ward, and they would carry messages back and forth from the community to the alderman. And they would also, in many cases, hand out food and other services to the community to make sure that those people in the community would come out and vote. So now we don't have that. So now candidates are relying on social media and television and radio. So you have big organizations like AIPAC and others who fund to a great extent these commercials on television and radio in the absence of the precinct captains and other people who used to get out the vote in the old days. So that's where we are now.
I wonder if we saw a false positive when we transitioned to technology. Did we see the lack of need for the actual precinct captains and we just kind of backed off? Or did precinct captains ultimately lose their power?
Let's answer that on the other side of the break. Yeah. Hold that thought. Great question, though. All right, so you're listening to Atiba, LaDonna, Raeh, and we'll be right back.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I've worked 60 years paying into Social Security so I can retire with dignity. But now I hear Trump and the Republicans want to cut Social Security and Medicare, and it keeps me up at night. That's why I am for Donna Miller for Congress. Donna strengthened protections for seniors, and she'll bring that same respect to Washington. I trust Donna.
I'm Donna Miller. I approve this message because seniors deserve the dignity and respect they've earned.
Paid for by Donna Miller for Congress.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh.
Congressman Jonathan Jackson on the line.
I saw a meme that said America will come and get you. When it's about the oil, they bombed in Iran, they've got oil. They bombed in Iraq, they've got oil. They bombed in Libya, they've got oil. And now they bombed in Venezuela, they've got oil. And they even came after Diddy because he had oil.
Come on, Congressman.
What a great setup.
That was good. That was good.
It's the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Chantel Franklin knows the struggle because she's lived it. As a child, she didn't always have a home to go to, changing schools constantly, struggling to get by. But she turned her troubles into triumph. She's dedicated her life to making sure no other children fall through the cracks. Chantel Franklin helped deliver for us in the Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office, defending our rights and pushing back against Donald Trump's harmful policies. Now, Chantel is running for the State House as a Democrat to keep fighting for us. Chantel will work to make housing more affordable and accessible so no child grows up facing housing insecurity like she did. And Chantel will stand up to Donald Trump's harmful policies, including his ICE raids whenever they try to attack our neighbors. Vote for Chantel Franklin by March 17th. That's Chantel Franklin by March 17th. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Chantel Franklin or any federal candidate or committee.
Financial freedom starts with access. Fifth Third Bank is breaking down barriers to banking with tools and programs that help you build credit, save, and grow. Our mission is simple: empower every Chicagoan to move forward, because economic mobility means opportunity. This is banking a Fifth Third better. Visit 53.com to learn more. That's 53.com. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Stephanie Kifowit is not your usual controller candidate. She's a Marine veteran and a current Illinois state representative with years of experience fighting waste, fraud, and abuse in Illinois government. Illinois needs a Democratic controller ready on day one to protect taxpayer dollars, stand up to Donald Trump, and get results.
I am Stephanie Kifowit, and I'm running for Illinois State Controller.
Paid for by Kifowit for Controller.
This report is sponsored by Staples. Want a great way to boost your brand? Custom labels at Staples will help packages pop, shipments stand out, and takeout boxes really pop off. Shop now through April 18th and save 30% on all custom labels. Staples, that was easy.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I'm scared of you. All right, guys, we're back. The afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Raeh. We have Professor, what is the word that I said earlier? Emeritus. I lost the word. Professor Emeritus. We want to let everybody know that you are so retired, right? Bob Starks. And of course, we have Pastor Rich Redmond. I said it slowly this time. I think I merged your name earlier. Or maybe that's
it
how
happens.
Atiba heard
It
it.
happens.
All right. So before we went to break, I asked a question. Have we gotten a false positive on how much of an impact technology is it working when it comes to taking the place of the precinct captain, or has the precinct captain lost its power?
Let's go to Pastor Rich.
Thank you, Pastor Rich. Thank you.
Oh, well, yeah. To just put it plainly, it has affected the actual personal appeal that the precinct captains once brought to the election process when various wards were able to have people door to door hand out things, talk to people in grocery stores, in walking the streets and common marketplaces. That was the personal appeal that was the electoral process, and not only in automatic wards, but throughout the states. We are looking now, if I could link how it was from which was mentioned earlier, Harold Washington, to today, the actual semantics that we're faced with, and why people don't have that same energy today that they had at the time of Harold Washington's election. There was a first coming into this process, the first Black mayor. You got 92.3% of the Black vote to elect the first Black mayor. And that, of course, was at the time no technology, personal appeal. People were out, but it wasn't just the precinct captains or people who worked in the political arena. It was neighbor to neighbor, friend to friend, and of course, Black to Black. We had an excitement there. As we watch the election move on to other Black elected officials, there was a coattail there. And then particularly with the mayoral races in Chicago, we had Eugene Sawyer, who took Harold's place, but could not bring that same energy. He was a second elected, or as some people would say, selected Black mayor. Then we move on down, we got Daley, and then comes in Rahm, and we go to Lightfoot. Now, that excitement has left the electoral process. At the same time, you got youth who doesn't know what it really means to be able to put a person in power. They don't see the value today as we saw it then. And we knew that we needed to get some control of City Hall, because at the time of 83, City Hall was damaging our community, even worse as they are damaging us today. Now, I'm going to bring up an old adage just to close this point. What it takes to get a thing is the same thing it takes to keep a thing. So we knew the value. We understood what it meant to have someone in power who knew our views, who understood our views. But as the 40 years has now passed, we are seeing individuals being elected to office who have different values. They're mostly party loyalists who do not look at community loyalty as closely as they did when we were able to get the first in. And that was in Indiana, Gary, that was in Philadelphia, that was in Atlanta. When we got that first in, we were able to really feel we did something. Right now, it's not that same feeling. So I'm going to just leave it there. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's take a call. We've got Brother Hall on line one. Hey, Brother Hall, thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call. Yeah, the two you got sitting there, they so old school, man. Ain't nothing that they can say that is out of place. Trust me, they know the business. And how do I know that? Because Bob can remember back during the day that Reverend Jackson and Harold Washington competed with one another on registered votes. And that was a big deal. That was a real big deal. Here's what I'm saying. What we did then, we may not can do it today, but we can sit down and engage each other and try to figure out what we need to do. Because it appears as that we're standing still, many of us, and, a lot of us can't do what we can't do, but I think we need to do something. And I think your guest will agree with that. And I just wanted to call in and say hello to the both. You got two specialists there in politics, so, we can't go wrong. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, Brother Hall. We appreciate that. We got one other call that we need to take before the break. We've got Pianki on line 4. Hey, Pianki, thanks for calling.
Yeah, Atiba. And now, you got a long-standing congressman that's telling people how to vote and who to vote for. And I remember seeing Chicago come to the meeting with Brandon Johnson. They was complaining about illegals and the fact that Chicago is a sanctuary city and how they're being indulged with people that shouldn't have been there. But the same congressperson, when asked about his thoughts on the invasion of the southern border, his answer on a Naima Latif show, and Mama D was listening, he says there's room for everybody. Now I can see why people don't want to vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pianki. We appreciate that.
Wow. Yeah, they run on one thing and then it can change.
All right, guys, do you guys mind holding on with us for just a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mind. No.
Perfect. Sit tight. We're going to take a real quick break for news, traffic, and weather. Phone lines are indeed open. 773-591-1690.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hope you're having a marvelous Monday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here's happening in your local and national news. Chicago's new 10.25% tax on sports betting revenue is sparking a dispute with state lawmakers who say local governments should not impose their own gambling taxes. Some legislators have introduced bills that would block Chicago's tax and keep sports wagering regulations uniform statewide. Critics argue the added taxes could push bettors toward illegal markets and reduce revenue. Chicago officials say the tax is needed to help balance the city budget and could generate about $26 million in new revenue. In other news, Chicago police are continuing their search for a 4-year-old girl and her mother. 26-year-old Heidi Soriano and her young daughter Ashley Lobato were last seen on Friday. The pair were reported missing from the 1300 block of North Springfield Avenue. Soriano is described as a 5'7", 110-pound Hispanic woman with black hair and brown eyes. Her daughter Ashley is also Hispanic and is 3 feet tall and weighs 35 pounds. In other news, gas prices are on the rise as we start off the week. Tammy Trujillo has the latest.
The national average for a gallon of regular has jumped to $3.71 a gallon, according to AAA. A week ago, the national average was $3.47. Drivers in California continue to face the highest prices in the nation at $5.52 a gallon today. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
And 10 airline CEOs are asking Congress to pay Transportation Security Administration workers during the partial government shutdown. NBC's Tom Costello reports the request comes as TSA officers miss their first full paycheck. The CEO stressed in a letter yesterday that it's a necessity for security officers and air traffic controllers to be paid, especially as the summer travel season approaches. Democrats are refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security, which includes the TSA, until uniforms and reforms are made to immigration enforcement. In the meantime, wait times at airports across the country have been going up as workers call in sick or find other jobs. I'm Logan Page, and that's what's happening in your news now on WVON 1690.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Do you need emergency cash now? You need WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com can help you get up to $5,000 fast. If you need cash for bills, car repairs, childcare, or anything else, type WeFixMoney.com directly into your browser. WeFixMoney.com is free to use, available 24/7, and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. Millions have trusted WeFixMoney.com. Go to the site that you can trust. WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com.
This report is brought to you by AutoZone. AutoZone, get in the zone. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
I may ask this family about what they eat.
Dr. M?
If he's turning playtime into screen time, that might be something I'd like to know. Has he tried smoking? Does he vape? I might even ask about changes to her body. Is she feeling overwhelmed? Any signs of anxiety? If we feel comfortable asking these questions, shouldn't we also be asking, how do you store firearms in your home?
Firearm injuries are the leading cause of death for children and teens in the U.S. It's our responsibility to have a conversation about firearm injury prevention, because questions about safety are questions about health. Find tools at agree2agree.org/healthcare.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
We are back on the afternoon show. Atiba Buchanan, LaDonna Raeh, joined on the live line by two very distinguished gentlemen. We have Professor Emeritus Robert Starks, as well as Pastor Rich Redmond. And they are walking us through how we've lost some of our political power, how we have lost some of our unity, and the systemic things that have impacted our voter turnout. This has been extremely interesting. Now, you spoke up her name, Pastor Redmond, and Mama D is now joining us on line one. Hey, Mama D.
Well, young God rising. Hello, Mama D. How are you?
I'm well.
Oh, that's good. What I find troubling is the mindset that voting answers all our problems. However, laws are being passed to give non-citizens, those who have entered the country unlawfully, a governmental leg up. And based on privilege, they seem to be getting more than we are getting, who's facing a network of zero, than from voting. And then it seems that the mentality is to blame blacks when other candidates don't get in, and we are just 13 or 14% of the population. And even if we voted 100%, that wouldn't be enough to just put people over the hump. But I wanted to ask you, did you feel some kind of way when the question was asked? If you are in support of the American government having more power or something to that effect than non-citizens, and that the Democrats sat down and the Republicans stood up, don't they take an oath of office to uphold the laws of the American government? And when that question is put out there, I felt some kind of way about that. What about you?
Who are you asking? You want Bob to answer that or Pastor?
I want anybody that was sitting at home witnessing when the straight up question was asked.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mama D. We appreciate it. We're pressed for time.
Well, let me say, Atiba, that number one, Harold Washington and Jesse Jackson had the kinds of personalities that we have not seen since. So they could rally people to register to vote and to vote on election day. So, there are no other elected officials or candidates that had that kind of personality. People were actually rallied when Harold Washington and Jesse Jackson came into a room. So, and when we elected Harold and when we sent Reverend Jackson to the convention, we didn't need precinct captains. In fact, we were suspicious of precinct captains because they might have been turning the tide and cheating with us. Remember Harold's famous quote, "Take the watermelon and vote for me." Okay?
Yeah.
Take the turkey and vote for me. You remember that?
I remember.
I love that. I love that. Listen, guys, we're
Mama D point, Atiba, let me just say, because I love Mama D. We talk
absolutely.
regular. And Mama D, one of the things I am trying, and that did bother me, because one of the things that we need to teach our children so they'll know the value of not only voting, but themselves and the value of what their ancestors did. Our ancestors, they fought, died, sweat, was lynched, dog-bitten, water holes, denied, deprived, pushed aside, all the things to keep us from getting what was rightfully ours. And when the law came down, the Civil Rights Act should have been a law, but Civil Rights Act was finally signed off by President Johnson. The House, Congressional House, and Senate voted that law not only applies to blacks, but all minorities, including the white female. Dick Gregory and I laughed about that a number of times. Now, we should teach that to our kids because of this. There's no minority in this country then or who came later who would not have the rights had not it been for the African American, once known as the Afro-American, once known as the black, once known as the color, once known as the Negro during Dr. King's time. If we didn't do what we did in the 60s, minorities would not have the rights that they enjoy today. And it was because of the black race in America who was willing to give their lives, struggle, no matter what, to make it possible when they didn't have a choice, to give the future of their descendants a choice, to go to the polls and vote, and they're not doing it. They need to think about that, and they need to do it. I'm tired of patting them on the head and telling them, you do have a choice. No, you do not. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm about to go to preaching.
That's all right. That's all right. Listen,
Professor. Well, I just want to point out,
go ahead, real quick,
and Atiba, that we need to make sure we teach citizenship and everything in the public schools, so our children will understand not only the history, but how government works and why it works the way it does. And we have to also make sure they understand that without voting, we can't accomplish very much. And that's why I'm so happy that the 18-year-old who is graduating from high school can get their diploma along with the voting rights card that was instituted by Reverend Jackson in the 80s and is just now being put on into the State House to be passed. It's excellent, but we definitely need government classes in the school system. We definitely need that.
Well, gentlemen, we have to leave it here. I'm sorry, Pastor. We got another guest holding, but we could have you guys on all day, and I will have you back for a part 2. I'm sure there'll be plenty to discuss after all of these results come in this coming Tuesday. So thank you so much for helping us navigate this discussion. We couldn't have done it without you in the same way. So we appreciate you guys so much.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
LaDonna, God bless you both. Y'all know I'm going to be on Friday, so.
That's right. That's right, with Kendall Moore. Can't wait.
We're going to be causing some trouble.
Can't wait to hear your perspectives, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Joining us on the live line now, we want to get this person at least introduced before the break, is Jackie Hoffman. He is the CEO or the co-founder of Peace Runners 773. It's an organization that started in 2020 and has expanded with more than 1,000 runners traveling throughout the West Side and participating in wellness programs. This is fantastic. Non-for-profit Peace Runners 773 opened its wellness headquarters last month at 3563 West 5th Avenue in Garfield Park. Since 2020, the group has organized races, weekly runs and walks, youth and senior programs, and community workouts. The new studio will house Peace Runners nutrition workshops, mental health programs, classes for older people, and youth strength training. This is all according to the co-founder, Jackie Hoffman, who joins us on the live line right now. Hello, Mr. Hoffman. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much. We do have a minute or two before the break. If you could, for what I left out, enlighten individuals that are not familiar with Peace Runners 773. What is it you guys do and why were you founded?
Yeah, exactly. It was a love commitment to my mom. I came back home. I was living in Atlanta. I'm from Garfield Park, born and raised, and I had moved to Atlanta. And I was like, when you grow up in the community, you always thinking, like, what way can you get out? And I went to Atlanta, played some pro football, and did some stuff, in Atlanta. And I came back home, and I wanted to be, take care of my mom and be here for my mom. A lot of things was happening in the community that I wish I could have, stepped in and been a part of that. And I learned about the life expectancy gap. It's a 20-year life expectancy gap from East Garfield to downtown in the West Loop. Mm-hmm. And the number one cause of that was heart disease, cardiovascular disease, pre-diabetic, all of these things. And they were the number one cause. My mom was going through that. I challenged my mom to start walking, changed up her nutritional practices. She lost over 60 pounds. Her medications went from 13 to 0. Her doctor visit got extended from every 2 months to every 6 months. And then seeing that, I was like, how can we get people aware in our community of a community-led approach on what we could do to take care of ourselves? And it's been a movement since then. All of those people that's been running and walking and yoga and senior movement and youth engagement is just an intergenerational movement for health and wellness.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you took us right to the break. Perfect timing. So sit tight. We got a question or two for you on the other side. And we want to let people know how they can get involved as well, because you are doing great things in the community. Thank you for sharing that story about your mom. That is really inspiring. We're going to take a real quick break for traffic and weather. When we come back, more with CEO, co-founder, Jackie Hoffman of Peace Runners 773.
More from Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hi, I'm former Secretary of State Jesse White. And as a leader in government, I always focus on delivering the best possible results to the people. It took training, preparation, and teamwork to make it happen. That's why I'm asking you to join with me in supporting Pat Hines for assessor. He's been a professional assessor in and out of government his entire career. He worked at the Cook County Assessor's Office for over 20 years. He was elected as Lyons Township Assessor and considered one of the best. Pat serves the community as a volunteer firefighter. He will bring fairness to our community and to all of Cook County. He's fair, honest, and transparent. Now more than ever, we need Pat Hines training, experience, and professionalism. Vote Pat Hines, Democrat for assessor. Thank you.
Juliana Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running Chicago's largest ICE detention lockup center. Even worse, Juliana Stratton raised taxes on working families by 32%. Then, Stratton turned around and promised tax breaks for her corporate donors, higher taxes for us, tax breaks for her wealthy donors. Juliana Stratton selling us out. Raja Krishnamurthy has spent his entire life taking on the powerful for the people. An immigrant, Raja grew up on food stamps, relying on neighbors just to get by. He knows what's at stake because he's lived it. That's why in the Senate, Raja Krishnamurthy will lower drug prices, end taxes on Social Security, and make sure every child has a free lunch at school. Raja Krishnamurthy, our Democratic fighter for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Trial in the Delta, the murder of Emmett Till, just extended until March 29th at Collaboration Theater. Step inside the courtroom and witness Mamie Till Mobley, a mother angry and bold enough to let the world see the brutality inflicted on her 14-year-old son. Her courage ignited a movement. Trial in the Delta, the murder of Emmett Till, now running until March 29th. Get tickets now. Call 312-226-9633. That's 312-226-9633. Or visit collaboration.org.
Here we go again. More nonsense. Corporate big shots come here, promise to help the community, and when it's over, we get boarded up buildings, they get pockets of cash. Same old, same old. That's who Ahmed Karar spent his career working for, corporations that hurt our community. Karar sold us out to get ahead. How can we trust him to work for us when we know he's worked for them?
Senator Emo Jones III is doing big things for our community. As our state senator, he eliminated the statewide tax on groceries, and Jones got $63 million to repair our infrastructure in the South Side. That means more jobs. Jones has stood up to Donald Trump and held ICE accountable. Now, March 17th, we can re-elect Democrat Emo Jones III so he can keep working for us to bring down costs and make us safer. Cast your ballot for Emo Jones III. American Future paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericanFuture.org. Not authorized by Emo Jones III or any federal candidate or committee.
This report is brought to you by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Now back to Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. The afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Raeh. It's staying lighter and longer now. So when we leave here, it's going to be a little bit of daylight. Those of you that are on Facebook, continue to share the show. And we're just about to wrap up. We have our very esteemed guest on the line, Mr. Jackie Hoffman, who is the CEO of 773 Studios, Peace Runner 773. But I have a question about, you stated, you have a quote here. You said, we can reclaim a space within our community. That was huge for me as a Black man. Hoffman said, but when you go to the gas stations and there's nothing Black owned or no Black spaces, it's more than just the physical space. It's also the motivation, and it provides hope, that good feeling that something good is happening in the community. But the one thing you didn't mention, Mr. Hoffman, is that we now, through this initiative, own our own health. This is an opportunity for us to own our own health. There's a few examples of people who were on medication, getting chemotherapy, and now through running, they are now doing much better. But what if you're not 5K ready? What if you come to your organization, Peace Runners 773, and you're not 5K ready like Atiba?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is people hear the Peace Runners part and automatically think of runners, or when they see 100, 150, like our Black people, our people running through the street, they automatically think about the runners. And this all started from a walker, and it started from the impact of what my mom did, like her transformation, her personal transformation. So we got a big group of walkers. So I always say, like, the walkers, please come out and join. We have people that have started off as walkers, or have like parents that used to drop their children off to come run with us. And then the parents started to come and they started to walk. And then once they started to walk, they've been influenced and said, like, oh, I want to start running. And they have did the 5Ks and half marathons and even marathons. So I think the biggest power when we talk about that and remove the limitations is sometimes we see things and think that we can't do it. But when you get around people and you get around like-minded people that are pushing towards a mission and hold us accountable, it kind of like, it rips that off. It rips the limitations. It rips that thing of, I can't do it. And it makes you feel like you can do it because you see people do it on a daily basis. So it's so powerful when we move as a community, because what I think is myself, what I can do, somebody next to me probably believe in me more than me. And that's how I'm even running marathons at this point. I just know I got so many more people in the community that's looking up to me or that's looking for me to show up for the community. So I ran Sydney, Berlin, Tokyo, and Boston last year, and I'm running London in 6 weeks, and all to raise money and funds to make sure that these funds go to our community.
I've been doing the 5K hot chocolate walk or run rather for about 20 years, and I still haven't done it. So maybe I need to start off with you guys and work my way up. I love it. All right. We want to thank you. Tell everybody what website they can go to real quick before we let you go.
Okay, it's www.peacerunner773.com. You can connect with us there. And then on Instagram, it's peace_runner773. Instagram account, if you DM us, we will always reach back out. Facebook is peacerunner773. Or you could just meet us at the Gold Dome on the west side of Chicago at 100 North Central Park. We are there every Saturday, 9:15, raise, sleep, slow. show up there. Come catch us in the community. Come walk, come run, come move. It's a movement.
Love it. Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, co-founder Jackie Hoffman. He said, meet him on the block. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. All right. Give us some updates. Yeah. Sure.
Appreciate you.
All right. All right, guys. We have to wrap because we're at the end of our show. But before we wrap, Atiba, I didn't get to do my weekend rundown. I'll just do it like in 60 seconds. First of all, we went to Blackout Night last week for the collaboration, the story or trial in the Delta, the murder of Emmett Till. That was Thursday. And I took my teenage boys to see this. We were literally taken back in time, and we were able to experience facial expressions, gestures, the exact transcripts that came from the courtroom back in 1955. Because as we have stated over and over again, young people just don't know what our people have been through. And when we left there, it was quite the conversation. Along with that, I had to go back and see it. I took my guy. We went on Saturday night, and this is one of those what is it? The murder mysteries. It's kind of like that type of setting because you're in the theater, but you're really in the courtroom. You're part of the audience. You can also purchase your tickets and sit in the jury box. You can be part of the jury, which makes it really cool. And I didn't know that I was going to be emceeing or doing the reflection after the play had ended. But shout out to N.K. Gutierrez, who played or did a phenomenal job playing Mamie Till. She was excellent, and everyone else was as well, and down to the gentlemen that, oh God, I'm calling them gentlemen, but they made you want to hate them. The ones that actually killed Emmett Till and got away with it. But guys, I implore you to go onto their website. It's collaboration.org and look for the trial in the Delta. Get your tickets, take your kids, take a neighbor, take somebody, because this is something that I've never, ever experienced in my life. And literally, we had to breathe to come back to 2026. And trust, for some reason, Atiba, I didn't feel any different. I felt like we're still going through this.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for the afternoon show. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget, go out and vote. You can early vote today. Tomorrow is election day officially. Make sure you get out there and cast your vote. We will be doing all day coverage tomorrow. All of us will be talking about the election, and then you'll be able to catch at 6 p.m. Rufus Williams, Cleopatra Draper, and David Seaton will be doing the live coverage. And then each one of us, I mean, there's like a gang of us, we're all going to be posted up. Yes, I said it, at different campaign locations throughout. All right, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.
Happy Monday evening, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Chicago's Marshall High School wins Class 1A basketball title. Oscars Best Original Screenplay. Encyclopedia Britannica sues OpenAI. Diddy files appeal calls sentence perversion of justice. And Doja Cat reveals borderline personality disorder diagnosis. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station. WVON 1690, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's BIN News Now.
That's the sound of blowing snow that's adding to severe weather and significant travel disruptions for thousands across the U.S. Over 3,300 flights were canceled as of last check, with the storm impacting several major airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Delta Airlines, and American Airlines. Democrats on the Foreign Affairs Committee are demanding top Trump administration officials appear before a panel for testimony on the U.S.-Israeli war in Iran. Members said Congress must understand how the negotiations were conducted. Democratic lawmakers on the panel issued a letter calling on several Trump officials, including Secretary